Welcome to Friday. It's another beautiful occasion to share with you what we have packaged for you. My name is Benjamin Akakpo. This right here is the AM show. Shortly, I'll be serving you the news, and right after that, guess who joins us for the news review? Kofi Kapito is Chief Executive, Consumer Protection. And of course, we also have the former GJA boss, Afeo Money. From there, we head into sports with Haruna Mubarak, and then, of course, you'll be hearing my blunt thoughts from there. After which, we'll serve you our big stories. Now, in just 2 days, the NPP will launch its 2024 manifesto in Takoradi in the Western region. This comes days after the NDC launched its own youth manifesto with some freebies for level 100 university students. We ask, what are we likely to hear from the NPP? What do you want to hear from them? And in fact, what should be in a manifesto for you and for me? We'll be seeking answers to those. This morning as well, we actually direct our constituency lens to the Ashaiman constituency, where residents are divided over whether to vote, while both the NPP and the NDC's aspirants believe they deserve to lead. But are they worthy of our votes? We'll be there to tell you more as they share their thoughts with us. But as always, we'd love to hear from you as well. Join us with your thoughts via phone and on all our social media handles. We'd love to hear from you. But stick and stay. Up next, we have, you know what, the news. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Let's zoom right into the news. And in our first story, the Energy Ministry says it is engaged in ongoing negotiations with its creditors in the energy sector to settle outstanding debts and ensure the efficient operation of the Electricity Company of Ghana without disruptions. Currently, the debt is more than $1 billion after an initial $400 million was paid to 5 independent power producers. There's more in this report.
Minister of State at the Energy Ministry, Herbert Krapper, has assured that efforts are underway to settle the current outstanding debts of the Electricity Company of Ghana. Although a portion of the debts have been categorized as legacy debts, the ministry is taking concrete steps to address the current financial obligations. Mr. Krapper made these remarks during a working visit to the Accra West ECG office at Aveno, where he engaged with officials and staff to discuss the company's financial challenges and strategies for improvement.
He continues to service, together with the Ministry of Finance, these debts. The renegotiated terms have gone to Cabinet, they will go to Parliament, and then once it is ratified, they can become effective. But as things stand now, the legacy debt is being tackled by the Ministry of Finance, and ECG is tackling the current debt, out of which 60% is current and then 40% is deferred. We have also done a tariff levelization. We've levelized the tariff so that those who have front-loaded their tariffs will spread it evenly across, so that, you know, the debt overhang can be reduced. The renegotiated terms help us to reduce the pressure on ECG, reduce ECG's monthly commitments that they have to make to the IPCs, and they are being currently on
assurance that we are going to have constant power supply.
I mean, constant power supply is the overriding consideration. I'm sure you have heard me say over and again that constant power supply is my #1 priority as minister, and I will ensure that.
A major challenge with power supply to customers is faulty meters. Mr. Krapper revealed ECG has a backlog of over 1 million meters and urged them to expedite the distribution process to address the challenges for the customers.
As I told them, pay attention to the meter rollout exercise. I'll pay attention to how long it takes, how soon they are able to tackle customer complaints, and whether they are keeping to my charge of making sure that customer complaints are dealt with within hours. And I'll keep an eye also on my charge that recalcitrant officers who are creating problems should be dealt with. Heads must roll when we find that persistently some people are just making it difficult for us to provide quality and affordable and efficient service to our customers.
But the ECG is worried about the growing trend of customers using dubious means to bypass their system to steal power. Dr. Benis Aboagye is head of customer services at ECG.
Customers, like we are saying, we've done these things, but we've realized that most of them are now trying to bypass facilities. And each year, we want to use this platform to educate every customer that we will not sleep. And when we get you, the law will take its course. Complaints. So we want to tell the public, the Ghanaian public, that ECD, we have meetings. We have meetings. Do not go to anybody known as a Goro boy or not. And
now, the Public Accounts Committee has called for investigations into the fraudulent activities of a former employee of the New Times Corporation. The former cashier was cited by the Auditor General for embezzling over 100,000 Ghana cedis between 2020 and 2021 through fabricated receipts and other fraudulent acts. Listen to what transpired between the Managing Director of the New Times Corporation, Martin Eduowusu, and members of that committee.
Notice it until the external auditors came in to identify it at that time. After it has been identified, we realized that there were some of the receipts she tore them, and we didn't. She kept them. She tore the receipts and kept them, and then some of the monies too were not banked, and even some of the whole receipts could also not be found. So unfortunately, this is what happened. And she doesn't look like somebody who can do this, but
Chairman.
This is what happened.
MD, I think you are digging deeper and deeper. Honorable Park.
And so if the lady in question had a superior who she was reporting to, that superior should have had documentation about how many receipt booklets have been given, and probably should have been inspecting her work and the collections periodically. Chairman, this is an issue that needs to be flagged.
Clerk, please flag this one. I think we need to do a deeper investigation on this.
Well, let's head into our next story now. And municipal assemblies in Accra have taken a bold step to slash air pollution emissions by 30% by the year 2030 as the city embraces the Breathe Cities initiative. This ambitious move comes in response to the silent menace of air pollution, which claims over 28,000 lives annually in Ghana. At an event in Accra, stakeholders unveiled plans to deploy a network of sensors to vigilantly monitor pollution hotspots. Beat reporter Michael Ashali has more in this report.
In 2019, Ghana saw approximately 23,000 deaths from malaria, 14,000 from HIV/AIDS, and 10,000 from tuberculosis. Alarmingly, air pollution caused even more fatalities, with at least 28,000 deaths that year. Air pollution has become a major concern in Accra.
With high levels of particulate matter, people breathe these things in, and it affects their lungs and how the lungs perform.
Factories and waste burning are to blame for a lot of pollutants, but transport, especially the old fleet of trotros, is the biggest single contributor. Ayawaso West Municipal Health Director Dr. Louisa Ademki-Mate explains.
For the past 3 years, in most districts, you will see that respiratory tract infections are high on there.
Dr. Ademki says vulnerable groups tend to suffer the most.
It's just a vicious cycle. Because you don't have the money, now you are getting sicker. It just perpetuates the poverty.
Desmond Appiah, country lead of Clean Air Fund, says there's an urgent need for a more comprehensive research.
The outdoor or ambient air quality is getting worse. And so it means something is still not clicking, something is still amiss. There's not a lot of localized research, and that's what we are trying to change in our system.
The city of Accra has now joined the Bridge Cities initiative. It is a first of its kind initiative from Clean Air Fund, C40 Cities, and Bloomberg Philanthropies.
And we hope by the end of the process of the Breathe Accra, we would have been able to reduce the pollution levels by a good 30 or so %, because at the rate that it is going, it is not healthy for any of us.
A network of 60 low-cost sensors and reference grid monitors have been installed across the city to provide real-time air pollution levels. Adentan is home to some of these sensors. The early data is already making a difference.
Quickly, we deployed people. They realized that there were issues. One had to do with some burning that was taking place. So quickly, action was taken.
Jacob Johnson Atakpa, project coordinator of the Green Africa Youth Organization, GAYO, says they are also making progress with support from Clean Air Fund,
as well as recycling all the recyclables there are in the system to ensure resource efficiency and sustainable production and consumption.
According to the WHO, meeting the air quality guidelines of 10 micrograms per meter cube for PM 2.5 could prevent more than 1,000 deaths annually in Greater Accra. For Joy News, Michael Ashale.
Let's stay on health-related issues, as the authorities in the Bono East region have expressed worry about the increasing number of maternal mortalities in the area. Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Fred Adomako-Boateng, who was speaking at the 2024 media review meeting in Kintampo, said a maternal task force had been instituted to help educate pregnant women on what to do to ensure safe delivery. And Asabit has more.
The Bono East Regional Office of the National Health Insurance Authority has retained its position as the #1 amongst Ghana's 16 regions in terms of revenue mobilization. This was revealed by the regional manager, George Opondankwa, during the 2024 media review meeting held in Tichiman.
When it comes to revenue mobilization too, we are gradually establishing ourselves as financial pillars of national health insurance. Though we came about 4 years ago, but we are making strong points in terms of collecting funds for national health insurance. 2022, we were first nationwide. 2023, we defended our title by also placing first in terms of revenue mobilization. 2024, from January to June, when the rankings came from National Head Office, we are also first. Bono East region, we were able to do 64% of the media target given to us.
With the region yet to achieve its target for membership renewal, Mr. George Opondankwa disclosed that the illegal extortion of monies by some service providers is largely demotivating to some members of the scheme.
Co-payments. That is demotivating to some of our, or a lot of our members to renew, because they think that at the end of the day, if I renew as a member of National Health Insurance, I'm supposed to get everything free when I attend hospital. But when I go and they still collect something from me, it'd be like a disincentive to them to renew at the end of the day.
He noted, however, that the scheme is introducing new measures capable of checking this, and this includes the introduction of the pulpit, where aggrieved clients could lodge their complaints at the various health facilities.
To check the illegal payments or co-payment, authority have established a task force, national task force, where we go to the facilities to support our members there. And we have also established this pulpit system where we will station some of our staff there at the facilities, so that if any of our members have any problem, they can just go there for redress.
Speaking on behalf of the Deputy Chief Executive in charge of operations at the National Head Office, Bono Regional Manager of the NHIA, Joseph Mensah, admonished the general public to take advantage of the authority's new initiative of free health check aimed at helping in the prevention of diseases.
The Chief Executive Officer of the NHIA has launched a free annual health checkup. This is a novel initiative where health examinations and testing has been included within the benefits package for the populace, with a strong emphasis on moving towards promotive and preventive health care. The deliberate shift from a curative strategy is expected to lower medical costs while strengthening the NHIS long-term viability.
The Bono East region, with a target of 980,643, has achieved a membership of 722,372 as at mid-year 2024. Anas Sabit, Joy News, Techiman.
Well, let's do some politics now. And out of the 18 Volta regional seats in Ghana's parliament, the NPP has won. Before 2020, the NDC had won the Hohoi constituency seat in every parliamentary election since the inception of the Fourth Republic in 1992. Incumbent Member of Parliament, the NPP's John Peter Amewu, changed the status quo for the party in the 2020 elections. However, the NDC is determined to take back the seat, with its supporters and flag bearer optimistic that the NDC's candidate, Thomas Walanyo Chekbo, will win it back. Maxwell Agbagba has more in this report.
Before 2020, the NDC had won the Hohoi constituency seat in every parliamentary election since the inception of the Fourth Republic in 1992. In the 2020 parliamentary elections, John Peter Amewu, a member of the NPP and then Minister of Energy, contested the seat. He polled 26,952 votes, which was 55.18% of the total votes cast. The NDC candidate, Professor Margaret Kweku, received 21,821 votes, representing 44.12%, a little over 5,000 votes more than the NDC candidates. However, members of the NDC and the party's flag bearer are determined to win the seat back. Here at the Zongo Adabraka Park, party supporters have gathered in large numbers. Although the NDC lost the parliamentary election, it won the presidential vote in the constituency.
For NDC candidate, Honorable Chekbo Walanyo, he has won already. He has won already. We are just waiting for 7th December for electoral commission to declare me a winner. For Amewu, he doesn't have anything. He just making math.
He has done a lot for this constituency.
We don't see what he does. We, the NDC, especially the Hohoi Zongo community, is bragging over there. I do a lot for Zongo community. We, as a Zongo people, we don't see anything that he does for Zongo community.
Yeah, my name is Hussein Arimiao. To add a little what my brother has just said, I think if you join car from where you are coming, when you reach Zongo, reach the nature of the road from Zongo to this place. I've seen you've seen it. So if a true son of this town, why will you allow your town to do like that if only you care for this town? That is why we want change, and it must happen. That is why we want a full Walano Chekbo to come and rescue this Hohoi township.
NDC flag bearer John Mahama says the party is determined to take the seat back.
And so, we must choose the truth always. I won in this constituency, presidential, but we lost parliamentary. And we all know why we lost the parliamentary. We all know why we lost the parliamentary. And I'm asking people to search their consciences, because it's not the sustainable way. NDC can also say, we won't do any development. We won't extend electricity. We won't build schools. We won't do hospitals. We won't bring water. We won't do the roads. We'll keep the money. And then when it's getting to elections, we'll come for your Momo numbers. And we'll send you 500, 500, 500, 500. There will be a branch of the Women's Bank in this whole market.
Time now for our business update. And the Mine Workers Union has served notice it will not relent to hit the streets if the government fails to revoke the mining lease of Future Global Resources Limited, operators of the Bogoso Prestia mines, after the August 17 timeline given to the mining firm. The union contends that Future Global Resources has not demonstrated sufficient financial capability to effectively manage the mine since assuming control in 2020. Therefore, they find it surprising that despite a recommendation from the Minerals Commission to the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources to revoke the license, it has not yet been done. Speaking to Joy Business on the matter, General Secretary of the Union, Abdulmomin Egbana, said they would leave no stone unturned in ensuring the mining lease of the firm was revoked.
If by 17th August, and indeed, given the conditions that he outlined in the directive, they haven't been able to meet any of them. If it's about payment of salaries, which he directed that it ought to be done by the 30th of May, they have reneged in that direction. And so that is condition number one that they violated. Condition number two, they were supposed to raise the needed capital, get the mine up and running. As I speak to you now, the mine practically is shut. There's absolutely nothing going on there. And so what we are saying is that in your own conditional approval, these guys have violated these directives, with impunity. And so the point is, the minister ought to know by now that FGR simply do not have the capacity to run the place. So they must give way for others. And so that is the demand that we are making, and we are saying, and it's a matter of course, if the minister himself does not take steps to ensure that his own integrity and the high office that he occupies should be taken seriously by proceeding to withdraw or terminate these mining leases, then the union and the communities of Bogoso and Prisia will have no option. We will deploy every means possible to ensure that the place is up and running.
Well, the Accra Mall, the West Hills Mall, and the Kumasi City Mall have been taken over by a South African real estate investment firm, Lango. This follows the completion of a new transaction deal worth more than $200 million. The move is part of a decision by Lango to enter more African markets with its retail business strategy. There's more in the following Business Desk report.
With the acquisition of Ghana's Accra Mall, West Hills and Kumasi City Mall, Lango's portfolio now comprises high-quality commercial real estate assets across Ghana, Zambia, Nigeria and Angola. The new chain of properties adds to its already existing business spaces in Ghana, including the Achimota Retail Center, among others. The company also has properties in other parts of the continent, including Manda Hill Shopping Center in Zambia and the Wings Office Complex in Victoria Island, Lagos. According to Lango, Ghana's acquisition is expected to position the group as one of the focal estate development firms in Africa as it adds the Kumasi City Mall and Ikeja City Mall in Lagos, Nigeria. CEO of Lango, Thomas Rayleigh, in a release stated the transaction is a significant milestone for Lango and not only fits squarely into their strategy, but is also highly accretive. Lango will now have $875 million of assets under management across 4 countries, with arguably some of the best performing landmark commercial properties across both the retail and office sectors in selected growth cities.
Well, what's happening on the currency exchange? Let's head there now. Well, that's what the Forex market looks like, and that's how we cap off the AM news this morning. But stay tuned shortly. Joining me for the news review, Kofi Kapito. He's Chief Executive Consumer Protection Agency and former President of the Ghana Journalists Association, Afil Money. Stick and stay. We'll be right back. It's the AM News Review with yours truly. Welcome back. Before I get to my guests, you know how we do it. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic helping us bring you this segment. What are they offering you? If you're a man, prostate screening for free. If you've hit not even 40 now, 35 and above, you're a man, you don't know your prostate status. There's a problem somewhere there. If you're a woman, you don't know what your fertility status is. You may have issues. So get yourself checked out for free at Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. And where can you find them? Here in Accra at Spintex opposite the Shell signboard. Kumasi Kronomo Aboagye here behind the Angel Educational Complex. The Stakradia Nigeria State Tema Community 22, Techiman Hansua and the Siamanzama. If you'd like to call them, and I suggest you do so this morning, the numbers are 0244 867 068 or 0274 234 321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. But joining me this morning, he is the CEO of the Consumer Protection Agency. He's in the person of Kofi Kapito. We also have Afil Money, former president of the Ghana Journalists Association. One is in white, the other one is in a shade of navy blue. It almost looks like the Kaunda suit, apart from the lengthy sleeves. It would have been. This is Nkrumah's suit. Okay. Some things when you put on, they just remind you of certain characters from the past. Some of our greatest leaders, actually.
Yes. Nkrumah is incomparably the greatest.
Okay, so we did this last week, and you thought I had forgotten, so I'm going to do this again this week. Ziniagovi.
Yes, sir.
Why now, Oshe? You started the battle, so let's do this. Whom are you wearing this morning? Or today, dear, it is Amanone one.
No. This still is Keche.
This is?
It's by Keche.
Oh, it's by Keche. Okay. It's Keche, you Keche. Oh.
Keche, you Keche. And actually, I have some good news for you.
You do?
They want to make you one of the ambassadors.
Oh, Zah. Yes. Looks like many more are coming on board. That's nice. That's nice. Put it there. Kofi. Famoso.
Oh, yeah.
I like this deal. How about you? Who served you your Nkrumah suit?
A friend took me to a shop where I bought it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's fine. For me, as always, I am decked in something by Siru Africa. Mudasiru is his name. He's a young man operating around the Kanda area, doing amazing things. And if you like what you see, well, you can just reach out to him. His number 0557 029 138. 0557 029 138. He's on Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram at Siru-Africa. SIRU-Africa. Check him out. You never know. Anyway, so let's get into our quick thoughts for us, and then I know it's going to be a heated affair. Heated in a nice way. Food must be warm and all that. But I'll start with you, Afil Money. What are your thoughts for us this morning?
We all know that the spikes are out.
The what?
The spikes.
Okay.
Are out, and the race is on for election 2024. It has been touted as one election which we define. And it tests our democratic resilience. So the stakes are high and the interest is incredible. So it's natural for politicians who are consumed with false assumptions, mendacious claims, unrealistic promises, to spew them in their desperate attempt to win votes and ascend to the presidency. And we have a sacrosanct mandate as media professionals to weave all their promises, all their claims to the tight reality, making sure that we cross-check and fact-check so that consumers of media content are insulated from consuming fake news, misinformation, disinformation, which might affect their decisions and skew the elections possibly in the wrong direction. So we should not, in the name of God, compromise this professional mandate to ensure that whatever is fed the listening and reading public is nothing but the truth. Elections go beyond the performative acts of voting every 4 years. And as a nation, we have a responsibility to put Ghana on the firmer path of democratic ascendancy and not democratic retrogression. And in terms of misinformation, disinformation, one classic example is the statement made at the inauguration of Ghana Gold Refinery, that it is the biggest in Ghana. Meanwhile, as far back as 2016, the former president inaugurated Gold Refinery, which was described as the second largest in Africa. There are lingering questions about the new refinery. So in the name of cross-checking, in the name of factual journalism, the media should zoom in there so that the public are fed with nothing but the truth.
Well, Bright Simmons has been writing on X, posting about it, and he says it's just another backdoor route to Ejapa. But that's his thinking. Kofi Kapito, the captain himself.
You know, I find it interesting that we always make a fuss about the election year. This is the be it all, do it all, you know. If you don't get it right, Ghana will go up in flames every election cycle. So to me, it's just an election. We had it the last time, 1992, when we went into the Fourth Republic. Same thing.
You don't see anything different about this political, season because, mind you, like I always say, it's different. For the first time, a party that has been in power for 2 terms is actively seeking a 3rd term. Not that they don't actively seek, but looking at the temperature of the country, and they're seeking it, versus a former president. Never before happened for a former president to want to come back. And you look at the dynamics, people feeling corruption is on the ascendancy, the Afrobarometer revealing that people are tired of this kind of democracy, among others. It's not exactly like any other election.
The reason why I'm saying that is the same thing is we have the same results. You get my point? Look, Mr. Alan Chomartin has put himself out there as the 3rd force. Somebody who wants to bring Ghana together and stop this duopoly of NDC, NPP thing, so that we will focus on Ghana. Think about Ghana, not think about the parties. In Ghana, we think about the party. This is the only country, or maybe it's only in Africa, or the developing country, that the moment we finish an election, we go into an election again. We don't think about the nation. We don't think about how the people, we think because you belong to party A or party B, you don't deserve to be a Ghanaian after elections. And I'm telling you, come December, elections, you will see people probably who are in power now, all of them will be kicked out. A new force will come, and they will come and repeat the same thing, and then the cycle would do itself again. The question is the Ghanaian, this is my worry, the Ghanaian who's complaining, corruption, everything, indiscipline, carnage on our roads. It's the same Ghanaian who will not be discerning enough to say that, look, because this particular person promised me 4 years ago, 8 years ago, 16 years ago that they were going to do A, B, C, D, and they haven't done it. Why do they need my vote?
But let me quickly ask you this. I know you support Alan Chomartin and his great transformational plan and all of that. But in as much as people must look at the viability of the NDC and the NPP, right? shouldn't they also be looking at the viability of any other party or entity claiming to be a third force or claiming we can do better? Because rationally speaking, people would say, okay, A and B, but I mean, what could this person bring? And unfortunately for Alan Chemating, he has been with the NPP. And people have also said, you also made promises. I remember very clearly some of his promises on Commander. He served under Kufuor, he served under Akufo-Addo. So some will also say, why you cry? We've seen you. So what difference are you bringing? How do you reflect on that?
So are you trying to tell me that every member of the party has been seen, or every appointee? If not, they won't come and seek leadership, or former or current. That argument doesn't add up to
It's not about seeing. It's about you have been in government. We've seen you at work.
Every political party have members. And these same members are the ones who come and seek your mandate. So let's stop that argument. You are not going to get somebody from India or Nigeria to come and say, I'm coming to stand for NDC or NPP. It's the same Ghanaians who are in the same party who will come and ask you again. Probably even a member of the...
I think you're slightly missing my point.
I'm not missing that point.
Part of why Trump, Donald John Trump, came to power wasn't just about white evangelical Americans.
Yes.
People, when he was talking about draining the swamp and all of that, do you know why? Part of why people voted him.
I know why, because
they were tired of establishment politicians. That's why they kicked out Hillary Clinton. That's why they didn't give. They said, hey, you know, establishment politicians, we don't want, they are known. They are these people that have always been there through. We want someone totally new. So they would go for a dangerous option.
What I want you to understand is, Trump was a Republican or became a Republican. Trump did not run as an independent party. He ran on the back of the party. So this argument, let's put it to rest. I'm getting tired of it. The fact that I've been, you're a member of Kwesi Chum's organization, what's it called? Multimedia. Does it mean that if people are complaining about multimedia, you cannot be giving the nod to come and make it better? Is that what you're trying to tell me, that everybody in multimedia is not capable? Or who was a member of it, who decides that I don't want to be part of multimedia anymore because I've seen what my multimedia was. I want to make it better. Why not? I don't buy this argument. Anyway, let me go. Look, there's this, you know the story that I called you about yesterday? There's this thing in the new Finder, Delta to introduce fast, free Wi-Fi on flights to Ghana, Nigeria, and Senegal by early 2025.
Okay, so we've started with the paper. So let's start.
No, I'm just saying, remember, you see, these international airlines, they don't respect Africans. And the sad thing is, the aviation, Ghana civil aviation, sometimes I feel like they condone, they allow for them to abuse us. I tell you something specific that I've dealt with the civil aviation of Ghana. British Airways, of all international airlines, has taken upon themselves that they have the right to charge you extra $50. Mr. Afemoni, when you make, the reason why you make online reservation, so that you're fair, because there's no agent.
Right.
So
you cut
all those
the middlemen.
British Airways has introduced a $50 charge, and it's only in Ghana that they are doing it.
Have you personally experienced this?
I've been there. Now, some of the British Airways people don't even talk to me because they claim that I have exposed them. The question is, you cannot tell me that when I make my own reservation and check worldwide, the reason why they tell you do it yourself, because now there's no agency or agent in the middle. All right? But British Airways tags on. What even annoys me, I have made a reservation. Mr. Money, I owe you money. You said, anyway, money is right. And then you tell me, Kofi, don't come to my house and give me the money. My bank is so and so bank. There's one in your area. That is your bank. Oh. You tell me to take your money to your bank. And I get to your bank. And your bank tells me that I should pay $50 extra for putting the money in your own account.
No.
That is what British Airways is doing. And the Minister of Aviation is aware. The Minister for Transport is aware.
So that's about 750 cedis.
Yes! You have to.
But let me get this clear, because we have to be fair to all parties in here. You make your reservations online. You pay the fee there. Or if you are going to pay at the bank, you pay the stipulated amount. What are the $50 for again?
Well, ask British Airways, I don't know.
But
I mean, that is what I'm trying to find out.
You had to go through this. Did you bother to ask?
Asked, and they can't give me any answer. And the aviation department, the Ghana...
the Aviation Authority?
Civil Aviation. My own friend, Mr. Kraku, and his team, they are frustrating Ghanaians. Actually, I have a lawyer who is about to take the aviation and British Airways to court in Ghana, because we cannot allow, they will never do this thing in London. Neither will they do this in America. Even if you go online, and I checked, when I booked a flight from here to London, they tagged the $50 because I said I want to go and pay at their own bank. They gave me the bank. Then I did the same reservation through Lagos. It's not there. Through South Africa, it is not there. So why is it only in Ghana?
And I can understand it is crucial, not even just personally. You are with the Consumer Protection Agency. So we are consumers of that product, the flight.
Yes.
And so we must be protected. I mean, some years back, many years ago, I had my own incident with KLM. So KLM Air France. That was a different issue. But sometimes the way we are treated in this part of the world, I mean, how many times haven't you heard of, and I'm being careful mentioning brands, but certain airlines from the United States and how Ghanaians keep getting treated. Your flight is late, your flight is not showing up, there's been a cancellation somewhere and you are dumped somewhere, you know. It's just, and like Kofi is saying, the Ghanaian is treated as though he didn't matter. And it's not just what you just read here. So many of these airlines and our people are looking on, and Ghanaians are, pardon my language, being treated like trash. After you forked out thousands of, cedis, many hundreds of dollars, in some cases over $1,000 or something, to purchase flight tickets and all of that, you are treated as though you didn't even matter.
I think Kofi is well equipped to sustain this fight.
So Kofi, keep up the fight, pursue the legal angle,
since you mentioned,
and get people to work.
Since you mentioned a joint or an alliance, now all the airlines are going into some alliance, okay?
Right.
And that is what even I don't understand. If you go into an alliance, the rules and regulation should be vice versa. Do you know even in the alliance, individual airlines are allowed to make their own rules?
I see.
It happened to me. I bought an airline ticket. Actually, I bought a Brussels airline ticket.
Okay.
They are a co-share with United. Okay. And I don't want to flaunt, but the class that I paid for allows me a certain weight.
Okay.
It allows you two suitcases of that weight, and any extra bag should be the same weight. So if it's economy, business, or first class, all of them come to weight. Every airline would allow you to pay that single price with the same weight in the class. United refuses to honor because they say their rules are different from Brussels. Then you say you have an alliance or you have a measure. They are civil aviation people are aware. I am angry, I am frustrated because the people put in charge to protect me as a Ghanaian, they don't do anything. That is why I'm angry. When you go to them, they will tell you, Mr. Capito, I'm tired of that. I'm tired of that. It's, like you said, it's only Ghanaians who allow themselves to be mistreated, to be abused to be insulted, and they go back and do business with the same person who insulted them.
And I have stopped some of my, I mean, a long time ago. Let me just chip this in. I'm not going to mention any brands for the sake of not.
Me, I mentioned because it
no,
happened to me.
I'm veering into a different territory. If you look at even these satellites, digital, whatever, TV connections where you get to watch, I just don't want to mention the brand's name. And you go to Nigeria and other places, how much they are charging there, whether it's because of the size of the population. And you come to Ghana and the charges. You know, in Nigeria, those entities were taken on. They had to beat down their prices. But in Ghana, it's exorbitant. I stopped those subscriptions a long time ago because I don't even stay at home to watch. But I'm saying that the Ghanaian is often hoodwinked, taken advantage of, and those meant to protect us, sometimes you are compelled to believe they get some benefits, enjoy those benefits, so they will not seek your protection. You get it? They don't care about it.
I mean, it's
no
nice
regulation.
to believe that Kofi has been compromised in any way. So Kofi, all this reinforces the need for you to step up in the fight and engage the media. Let's expose the dark spots in the airline industry so that they do the needful.
You know, it is frustrating because you see, and I tell them, I just didn't start traveling just yesterday. What is even more ridiculous is the local airlines. The hour and then
as for
passion. Are you getting my point? But guess what? Do you know if you are late to the airport, they will charge you a fee.
Yes.
But if they
are late,
delayed,
or if they cancel their flight,
by law, they are supposed to compensate you.
Yeah, they will not.
They will not even give you water, give you a sandwich, because there are steps. A friend of mine, cousin of mine just came on British Airways. His suitcase delayed 5 days. None of the airline agencies even had the audacity to say we are sorry. And he's a Roman pastor, a priest. He sent me the thing, and I said, Father, you should have complained at the airport.
Yeah.
Because the airlines are aware. If you get to Kotoka, how many times do you see the agencies of the airline at arrival?
Yeah.
They are not available. Yeah. They are not available. And this thing, the aviation ministry or the minister for transport should tell these airlines to stop.
All right. I see the passion in there and very justified, righteous passion.
Yes, righteous indeed.
This morning. But let's get into the papers now. You've already started with, is it the New Finder newspaper? So let's continue from there, Kofi.
Yeah, but go also, and I'm looking at consumer issues, right?
But let's start with the headlines.
Okay, the headlines.
Then you can get into it.
The Finder, the New Finder, Apietis tragedy, Apietis or Apieti. Yeah. Okay, 82 house owners receive new homes. Joint National Security takes force raids 8 illegal forex operators. Government outlines strategic reforms for SOEs in Ghana. Clear economic direction needed for growth. The GCEMD. And then SNIT recalls 230 million surplus. So that is what we have in front of the New Finder. And then the publisher, Park Loud SNIT financial turnaround. Government has been meticulous in protecting public lands. Abu Jinapo, my own little brother. Presidential debate. Mahama runs away from Baumia. And then Hobson, media general hit with 10 million lawsuit over a Japadia document. That's what I have in the front of the newspapers.
All right, so which of the stories would you like to look at?
What I want to look at is the Guelph thing. The Ghana Guelph Petro. They say that they have reintroduced.
Which page is it supposed to be on?
I just saw it.
You can check from.
It's here.
Right.
It's page 9. GOIL reintroduces Super XP into the market. GOIL, I don't know whether it was a marketing thing or they just wanted to let Ghanaians have a feel of equivalent of, is it V-Power? But they call theirs, theirs was a little different.
Well,
Okay.
the RON 95 spec. If you,
Yes.
I realized some months back, anywhere you went, they had.
Go have the Super X95.
Yes, Super X95.
X95 that they gave it as the same price.
It wasn't technically the same. I bought some.
No,
it wasn't the same price as
Before they didn't have the RON 95 was supposed to be the Super X95.
Right.
Because they said they had added some additives to it to make it better,
Right.
just to the same level as
Right.
the V-Power.
RON 95 V-Power.
Yes. Then now they say no. They would not give you that value for money for the X95 because of some challenges that they had. So now they've introduced the RON 91 again, which is supposed to be a lesser
Which I have
in terms
now
of, yes, which is fine. I don't have a problem. But my thing is, you gave me something nice that I was enjoying as a consumer, you know, and then it's like somebody gives you champagne and you acquire the taste of champagne, and all of a sudden they tell you, no, if you want champagne, it will be expensive, so go and buy akpeteshi. That is the difference. You know,
But is that not also, you are into consumer protection and you know about marketing and all of that? I don't know fundamentally whether they were selling it at the same price, because comparatively, when I was buying Super XP95 or Super X95 from Goyle, comparatively to RON 95 at Total, comparative to V-Power at Shell, it was around the same price. So I don't know when you were buying or whether it was at a lower price. But I'm saying that
I'm talking about they did not have that 95 and 91. It was all
it was
95.
standard. It was
Yes,
standard
yes.
95, right? But I'm saying, even if that being the case, or that being said, marketing. Sometimes someone can give you a product that costs 100 cedis for 95 cedis because they want to get people to be excited about it, and after a while they revert to 100 cedis. It's
I'm not
marketing.
blaming them. I'm telling them that they should give us the old price.
So you want the fufu. All right, let's get into other stories now. Any other stories from that paper you would like to, or are you done with this?
Yeah, I'm done with this one. So
Ghanaian Times.
Ghanaian Times, child adoption rising in Ghana. 158 families apply in the first half of 2024.
Right.
President inaugurates $52 million Bolga Regional Hospital rehabilitation project to boost healthcare. And this goes to the NDC. Target students who cannot pay. This is in relation to the free academic visa fee policy they announced this week. And 19 pubs, others fined 475,000 Ghana cedis for flouting public smoking law. That's the Ghanaian Times. And the Searchlight, the Daily Searchlight. Scandal at Busts. 44 OMCs disappear with 59.5 million Ghana cedis, according to the Daily Searchlight. Tour no longer profitable, cigar boss alleges, and set up innovation hubs to harness potential in students. And Forestry Commission office vandalized over wrongful case.
All right, so which of those stories are you doing?
The NDC story is trending free academic visa fee policy. It said that ideas do not flow from one source. No one person or institution is a repository of wisdom.
Right.
NDC has come up with this policy. It has been touted in so many circles as progressive. But at the same time, there's a need to square this policy to the logic of reality. And because we have
under an IMF program.
Exactly.
They've spoken about how they are going to get the funding, but how sustainable is it over time?
Exactly.
And this morning, when I get into my blunt thoughts, it's one of the things I'm going to assess, the pros and cons, like you said.
Yeah.
Good thing, but could this be another free SHS?
Exactly.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
Free SHS, beautiful, but how it's been. Because I mean, all of us were in secondary school, not senior high school, secondary school, and we did what we did, and we saw. Now you see people, it's free, but they are ending up paying more than perhaps.
Yeah.
So we have to be careful about how we go about these.
Of the whole cost of education.
Yeah.
So, but NDC claims it's also disposed to receiving ideas and all that. And So this policy ought to be subjected to the tightest scrutiny in the supreme interest of the nation. Yeah.
I mean, come election 2024, everything that any politician says must be looked at microscopically.
Which is
because some of them are saying things that border on the surreal. And I'm not necessarily talking about the former president. I've heard some other things from Dr. Baumia, former President Mahama, even Alan Chamating and some others. And I asked myself, okay, what's going on, you know? But anyway, Kofi, do you have any thoughts on that? Quick thoughts on that.
I was going to look at this child adoption thing.
Right.
And the quick thoughts as you're asking me, yes, I agree. People just say things and they get away with it. In other jurisdictions, you will never get away with it. They will scrutinize your whatever that you said.
Do you remember the Obameter? Obama. Obameter. They had something called an Obameter. And they measured the guy for everything that had been said. Every last thing.
See, let me tell you what, and I'm not saying that your people, which this organization, don't do it. That is what the media is supposed to be doing.
Yeah, exactly.
You bring people who have the technical know-how to come and fact check.
Yes.
Yes, I agree with this person on this one, but maybe he embellished it a little bit more. You know, that is how they do it. Here, the communicators, they sit on radio, they sit on television, and they say anything they want.
Yeah.
And nobody, and then...
And when you are like me and you hold them, then they will say, you are being biased, and you are being biased, we'll continue doing it.
I want to look at this. I want to look at this child adoption rising in Ghana.
Right.
I beg the system that they should make it a little bit faster than what it is now. Because a lot of families need children, and a lot of children are left in the care of some people who don't even have the motherly thing for them to care for them. Look, there's been cases that people go to some of these children's homes to go and donate things for the children. And before you can say Jack or say who, the people, the older people, take after them. The abuse in these homes, some of these children should be placed. In America, they have, foster parents.
Yeah.
That the child is not yours on a permanent basis, but you're supposed to take care of that child. Okay, so we need to, I'm happy that it's gone up to 158. We should do more. We should regulate it better so that children will be protected. It's because children are the future. We cannot do this and then you hear somebody at the Olympics who come and tell you that I was adopted. But look at where I am.
Simone Biles.
Yeah, Simone Biles.
It's interesting, but you know, in her case, sometimes it's a bit. I feel for her mother, and her mother is being a bit. She says, you know what? I don't want to force myself. You know, it's both she and her sister. I don't want to force myself. If she feels like it, she should reach out. I mean, respectfully, because at the time she had to hand them over. She was on drugs.
Yeah.
She wasn't, and she realized that she wouldn't be able to give the children.
Volunteer.
They would end up in a bad way. So she had to step aside. I think now she's 52 or something like that. And the important thing, she wasn't adopted by, it was her own grandparents who adopted her. That is Simone Biles. She and her sister, her own grandparents. So now she sees her grandparents as father and mother instead of grandpa and grandma. But those are some interesting dynamics. And you made an important point. Adoption, I think adoption is too cumbersome, convoluted in Ghana in the first place. I've known people who have wanted to, with very good intentions. I mean, you scrutinize, and it's unnecessarily cumbersome. Of course, sometimes there's also corruption in there, but abuse and the lack of a system of checking.
Check and balance.
Okay, so the child has been adopted. What is happening to that child today? The child was adopted 3 years ago. Is that child being abused sexually, emotionally, physically? Is that child doing well in school? I mean, adoption, yes, but you know our social welfare system, it's practically non-existent. So while these are going up, and it's a good thing, we need to get many more people off the streets, many more people who need help. I mean, if we all went and took somebody to help, probably wouldn't see the mess we do in society. But how are we protecting them post adoption. Those are things we...
Ben, do you know there are months of women who are going to fertility clinics? It's expensive. Maybe you have to do it 3 times the treatment. I mean, but if they have access to a child somewhere, and some of these children, do you know they end up growing to adulthood because nobody will take them.
Yeah.
And believe me, some of them are also very, very troublesome.
True.
They've been traumatized from where they come from.
True.
You're talking about this Simone Biles thing. Yes, maybe the grandparents knows their daughter better. Maybe. Okay, but yes, it depends on the agreement that they signed for the adoption. Some people will tell you, I don't want to have contact with my natural parents. Some people will say, I would like to when I come of age, so that I would know. Some people will have good relationship with their natural mothers at the same time as the adopted parents.
Let's get into some other stories. I feel money. Let's do, if you're done with the Ghanaian Times, let's look at the Daily Searchlight.
Searchlight's the allegation of scandal at Post.
So Post every day there's a scandal.
I'll tell you a story because I was part of the investigating people who investigated that.
We'll come to you. Let's just get into it and then.
So this is what the paper is alleging. The chief executive,
Mr. Vanderpoy.
Yeah.
Have you heard the story?
No.
Yeah, the story says.
Is that not? Well, there's Tor no longer, or that's a different story.
I think
that's the boss story.
Yeah, this is the boss story.
So can you just read a bit for us?
Broke Ghana, which is currently so much in debt that is cancelling legitimate loans and seeking international financial help, has allowed 44 oil marketing companies to disappear into thin air with a whopping 59.5 million Ghana cedis at the Bulk Oil Storage and Transportation Limited Company boss. The shocking sum constitutes uncollected boss margin levels. This is revealed in the audit report of the Auditor General on the public accounts of Ghana Public Boss Corporations and other statutory institutions for the period ended 31st December 2023, from pages 64 to 80 of the report. And we are board the Tor no longer profitable, Siga boss, the chief executive officer of the State Interest Governance and Accountability, Siga, Mr. John Wedu, has opined that the viability of Tor is no longer significant. Answering questions from journalists at the Information Ministry, he indicated that in today's refinery, Tor is not the option in the oil industry. This is because the machines and technology today are quite different from the old system, and machines that cannot be financially good to achieve better results for the country. John Bwedu is
making. We would support Central, a Chinese entity, and say what's the 1D1F and all of that, but we'll let Tor rot. I said it the last time at that interaction with the former president. It is a blot on our conscience what we do to state institutions. Look at the price of fuel and how much better we could do even with our paltry sums of oil with fuel consumption in Ghana. Yes, we'll still have to import, but how can we cushion the ordinary Ghanaian? And look at what we've done to Tor. Sometimes I wish there were a way of getting some of these leaders, okay, if I say that, they'll say I'm being violent, but...
In the spirit of nationalism, in the spirit of accountability.
Ben, like I was saying...
Good governance. So we should be unafraid and unintimidated. Point out.
You see how is it Sri Lanka in some places, and even recently in Bangladesh and all of that. I'm not saying China. I'm not suggesting any when I say these things, I'm not suggesting anyone should attack anybody like in Kenya, the parliamentary, but someone was asking me yesterday, these people up there, the ministers and MPs, do they feel, or is it that we live in different worlds? Do they feel what we feel?
They don't.
Because sometimes the way they talk, it appears, and I say, well, they are within a certain ivory tower.
Yeah, sure.
They are insulated from what we feel on a daily basis. Every week, when I have to go to the fuel pump, my heart starts beating. And you know, for a long time, this was something I never did. I keep my eye on the needle.
On the needle.
Because once it starts moving from...
Have to.
I use a 1.6 liter engine. It shocks me because was it yesterday or 2 days ago, I had a half tank. Though I admit my fuel tank, the reserve tank is a bit big from what I've heard. But I have a half tank, which is 6 bars. I'm topping up the remaining 6 bars, and I'm spending 611 cedis and some pesos.
You know what is funny? And I've noticed this myself. When my needle is almost empty, and I fill, compared to when my needle is maybe a quarter empty, I spend almost the same amount in filling. So now
what engine do you use?
No, I don't know. I'm just saying that I don't understand why, if there's a quarter in it, and then compared to when it's almost empty, when the light is on, and I fill, there's about 50 or 100 Ghana difference. But I was expecting that I would pay less because it's at like what you're experiencing.
Yeah.
Look, this whole bust tall thing, like you said, our leaders, are they serious? Do they really want? The reason why I get a little bit funny about these things is I'm being asked to pay toll recovery debt as you and I sit here today. So if toll is in a coma, why am I paying toll recovery debt? The person is medically dead. The company, as the cigar boss is saying, is medically dead. Why are we spending money on life support? And this Boston, you know, it is funny how Ghanaians, and this is where I have a problem. These are not foreigners who are doing this to us. Ghanaians, that boss contaminated thing, I was part of the investigating team. My saddest thing is we gave a report to the president of Ghana. Up to today, we don't know what has happened to that investigation. It was headed by a professor from...
And have we been doing follow-ups or getting the media to...
What I'm saying is it was presented, it's in the media, headed by a professor from University of Kwame Nkrumah, you know.
University of Science and Technology.
Yes, right. You know, we what even saddens me, that we spend states' money. Okay, we chop lunch, we go per diems.
Yeah.
And then what the final report, just like any report that, not just this president, most presidents in Ghana, when you give them a report, even when they write a white paper on it, you don't even know what happens to it. And it is sad. It's supposed to protect Ghanaians.
We have to go, but are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me quickly do some stories from here very quickly. Middle Northern Belt's drought, farmers risk loans, default, food security investments under threat. About 334,000 farmers in the middle and northern parts of the country risk defaulting on their bank loans due to the destruction of some farmers' crops and the inability of others to plant as a result of inadequate rainfall. It goes on and on, but we know the problems they face, and even fertilizers that are meant for them sometimes diverted.
And the lip service we pay to irrigation.
Yes. And we're using antiquated methods of farming in a world where people have advanced and are using, even look at our cocoa, we're still doing pick outs when you can shell maybe 1,000 more with mechanization. Teacher nursing trainee allowances debate resurfaces. Now, as the 2024 general election approaches, the appropriateness of the nursing and teacher trainee allowance has resurfaced, with some academic analysts calling for a thorough debate on the subject. A governance expert, Dr. John Osai Kwapong, said the allowance had to be sustained, but that there should be a cap on admission, while 2 others urged the political class to discuss the subject outside politics. Of course, we know what the NPP and the NDC have said on that.
Populism is at the center of it all.
Choose prudence over populism, IFS urges government. And the Institute of Fiscal Studies has stated that Ghana's economy remains weak despite macroeconomic improvements. And they are basically saying, do things that will help the economy and help the people, not populism. We'll do this, we'll do that, when in fact
and
there could be
populism
nothing
is linked
due to it.
To vote catching.
Indeed. No, CRAPA tasks, if I may, CRAPA tasks ECD to address customer concerns. And on the back page, President Akufo-Addo inaugurates Bolgatanga Regional Hospital. That is the third phase of the Bolgatanga Regional Hospital Rehabilitation Project. The project, we commenced in 2020, comprises a 4-story, 39-apartment flat accommodation for the hospital staff, kitchen, laundry, relatives hostel, and central sterile supply department. The rest are a mortuary block, roads and maintenance works, provision of medical and non-medical equipment, as well as installation of other ancillary facilities. You have a minute each.
Can I ask you a question? That hospital, is it finished? I don't know, because you didn't finish the story. I want to know if
what?
If that whole hospital is completed now that people can...
The third phase.
The third phase, that means it's not finished. I don't know whether the third phase has finished it or the third phase will be a fourth.
So it says the project, which is intended to provide an ultra-modern secondary referral hospital for the region, was funded by the Saudi fund. Additional, so they gave us $52 million. Additional facilities expected to be executed as part of the fourth phase of the project are a maternity complex, neonatal intensive care unit, surgical unit complex, burns unit complex, hospital maintenance, and central stores department. And just a quick thing I'll say here, it's a good question you posed, because that is why we need a continuum or continuity in government. So let's say, let's assume whether, of course, Akufo-Addo is not going, whether it's the NPP or the NDC that comes. The expectation would be that, or Alan that comes, the expectation would be that whoever comes would probably give us phase 4 or maybe phase 5 in addition. Then the next person, and that is how we build on, so that, oh, this one came and did this. Recently, you has inaugurated something that I believe Professor John Japong started. Now completed under Akufo-Addo. It has to be incremental like that. Quick points, a minute each.
And the directive principles of state policy
underline
the need for...
You see, this should not even come in at all. Because the monies are not for the individuals. It's for the people of Ghana. What I want to know is, we should stop this commissioning and saying that it is finished.
Right.
Are you getting my point? I want to see the end thing so that the president will go and cut the sword and commission it. After that, I can use it.
Yes, but this is the end of phase 3.
You're not getting my point.
I get where you're coming from.
All I'm saying is, this is where we allow the politicians to get away.
Okay.
Because, look, people go and cut sword. Okay. I was part of a team that we started cutting sword under another regime, right? And that landing site is still there.
Right. Okay, so point made
so
on that.
In the name of comprehensive journalism, the media should ensure that whoever succeeds His Excellency Leonardo complete the fourth.
That is what I wanted to see, that, that Tamale hospital has been
after
finished.
After is done, after the inauguration. Comprehensive journalism dictates that we follow up this story, especially the fourth phase, in the supreme interest.
The final phase
of this nation. Yeah, the final.
So that people can use. They will build a nice classroom block. The children are still under the tree. And then they are waiting for the regional minister, something, to come and cut the tape before the children that the building is meant for would have access. And maybe a year or two, the thing is not still. Why?
We have to go, but that reminds me of something. I think about 2 years ago, I was at the Information Ministry for one of those engagements when Kojo Opon-Nkrumah was still there. And he was asking me about information that I had put out, information that had actually come from the Education Ministry, I believe. You know, the Vice President was saying back then that if they came, there would be no schools under trees and all of that. And as of then, we still had close to about, I think, over 2,000 or close to 2,000 of them. Check today and see. So some of these things, it's so sad. Look, but thank you, gentlemen, for joining.
So that we can applaud them.
Thank you for joining the conversation. We have to go. I'd like to say a very good morning to Nana Joa Bena, fantastic person. We'll catch up. There's also Sewa of Natural Life. I've forgotten your surname, Sewa. You'd have to pardon me on that. Today is your birthday. Happy birthday to you, Sewa. May you grow in grace and do God's will. Let me also salute Siru Africa for giving me this lovely shirt that I am donned in this morning. If you'd like to get something similar or even better, and their prices are sweet, yeah? Very affordable. Just reach him on 0557 029 138. 0557 029 138. Or on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Siru-Africa, SIRU-Africa. Those who joined the conversation, Kofi Kapito, CEO, Consumer Protection Agency, Afil Mone, former president of the Ghana Journalists Association. Before we veer into Prime Take with Fatawu Nabila Abdullahi. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic helps us bring you this segment every weekday. They're offering you free prostate screening if you're a man, free fertility screening if you're a woman. You can locate them here in Accra at Spintex opposite the Shell signboard. Kumasi, Kronomabwe here behind the Angel Educational Complex. There's Takrady Anaji State, Tema Community 22, Tichiman Hanswa, and Esiaman Zima. If you'd like to call them, the numbers are 0244 867 068 or 0274 234 321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. Bringing us to the end of the news review segment. Up next, Prime Take, Fatawu Nabila Abdullahi.
Good to have you here on the show.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah. We haven't spoken in a while. You and I haven't spoken for, what, 4 years? It's been a while.
Yeah. It's been a while. You know, the job was taking me somewhere. I've been in Accra only weekends. I've had all my time in the Right to Dream Academy. I only come home on weekends. I come on Saturday after the kids play game on Saturday morning. I come to Accra in the afternoon. I go back early in the morning, Monday. So I only have time when they're on vacation.
Wow, interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting. I want us to roll it back. You know, there are lots of people who admire what you have done, especially because you decided to spend a lot of time here in Ghana, in the Ghana Premier League. You won the biggest title, which is the Premier League with Ashanti Gold, and you moved on to do other things. So I want us to start the journey. Was football always the preference? Was playing football always the dream for you?
Yes. Well, I started playing football at a younger age. I can remember I started playing at the age of 12.
Okay.
And then a certain guy who is late now, called Audu, he's popular in Medina. He encouraged me to be a goalkeeper. So I started playing as a outfield player, just like this normal under 12. But at a point in time, he encouraged me to be a goalkeeper, and then I went in straight to play and goal. And I feel, no, I have the interest, so I need to continue from there. So I have the passion. Since from then, I said, no, I like to be a goalkeeper, and then that continues from there.
So before then, you were an outfield player. Which specific position was it that you were interested in?
Normally I play as a striker because I'm good with the head. You know, so they always like me to play up front. So at the point in time, no, they need to play me in goal. So he encouraged me to play as a goalkeeper. So when I went in, I feel like, no, this is also another position that I can take. So I took the position, and then I started playing as a goalkeeper.
Wow. What was it like getting, growing up in a neighborhood like Medina, specific neighborhood within Medina, and, devoting your time as a child to football? When you look at the history or the juvenile football or coast football history of Accra, Medina played a very big role. We had quite some names also pass through that place. What was it like? Well, you belonged to some teams, you had, coast football sides that you played for, or what?
By then, to play a coast team, especially in Accra, is very difficult. I remember I went to Golden Tulip. It was Granada before they changed it to Golden Tulip. It's a coast team. I went to that's a trust, but a lot of goalkeepers, a lot of players. So I don't have a chance to play. So I went back to Medina to play in this under 12 until I went to Cape Coast to school. That's when I had a chance to play a proper coast. So I played my coast football in Cape Coast. That's Has Babies. That's where I play my coast. It was by then in Accra, the coast in Accra, but then It's not easy. Not to talk about even Tema.
Loads and loads of talents.
It's not easy at all. But, you know, everything is time. So the only place I had a chance to play my coast football is in Cape Coast.
What were you doing in Cape Coast? Was it that your family moved there, or you know, what was it exactly that you went to do in Cape Coast?
No, I went to a commercial school there.
Okay.
So that's where a coach spotted me, and then he got me to his team to play for the coast team.
And it was goalkeeping.
It's goalkeeping throughout.
I see. How would you describe goalkeeping? I mean, for those who sit back and watch, they say that the conditioning that you need to be a goalkeeper is way more than what you need to be an outfield player. Is that really the case?
Yes, comparing to the modern trend of goalkeeping, this time the position demands a lot. This time the position demands a lot. Playing as a footballer, as a goalkeeper, is different from coaching. Far. One of the days, goalkeeping, you know, you have to just save the ball, just dive, jump. But this time it has changed a lot. So as we were trained before, if we should use the same method to train our goalkeepers this time, I would say that we have totally failed football. But the game has changed a lot. But it's generation, it's time, and then the game will keep changing. So when the game is changing, as a coach, you need to also study, make a lot of research, come back to the field, teach the boys so that they can meet the demands. So playing those time, or how we were trained those time, is different from now. Now I can't train my goalkeepers how I was trained before. No, I can't do that because the game has changed. So when I was playing, you know, by then it's not easy to have a goalkeepers trainer. You need to go and do your own thing, and then when the team needs you, you call you the goalkeepers to come and join the team, and then you join. But the only thing, the most important thing is if you have the passion, you will go through.
So then it means that during your era, when you were coming up, the whole idea of the goalkeepers trainer was non-existent, and you had to more or less be on your own and use your own ideas to fit into the team strategy.
Yes, that's how it is.
Interesting. Well, if you just joined us, we're still here having this one-on-one conversation with Fatawu Dauda, who's played at the FIFA World Cup, played at the Africa Cup of Nations for Ghana, and also won the Ghana Premier League. The goalkeepers trainer of the Black Stars, who has loads and loads of experiences to share with us here on this special edition of the Joy Sports Link here on Joy 99.7 FM, which is also live on our YouTube channels. Keep your messages coming in, and a bit we'll be sharing with everyone else. We're just delving into the origins and the starting days and how things went before he was able to stand on his feet and you know, start getting major opportunities. Now, the family system, you know, in this country back in the time was such that most parents didn't believe in the idea of football, you know, having a child, you know, go and play football. It was more of the traditional everyday occupations that we all aspire to, or what is referred to as white-collar occupations. You want somebody to become a doctor, to become a lawyer, to become an architect, to become a teacher, to become an engineer, you know, that kind of line. How come none of that, did any of that, you know, come your way? Did any person within your family, anybody within your parents, your uncles, aunties, give you that kind of admonition to want to do any such rather than football?
Yeah, I remember very well, may the soul of my parents, my dad, my mom, may they also rest in peace.
Amen, amen.
I remember, you know, those times we go to school from Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
And Saturday and Sunday, that's when we play football. And that's when I have to go to Islamic school.
I see.
And we play those matches in the morning. And we have to go to the Islamic school Saturday morning and then Sunday morning. So if I want to play football, I need to avoid the Islamic school. And those times, if you don't go to Islamic school, they send the big boys in the school to come after you. And even when they come home, even your parents will give them a chance to take you away. And when you go, a lot of punishment. But for me, that has helped me a lot. To know how to recite the Quran, how to recite a surah, to pray. It has helped me. So if I've not been Makaranta, I cannot pray. I cannot be a Muslim. I would know nothing about Islam.
I see.
But I remember one time, just in front of our house in Medina, there was a park there.
Okay.
So that's where we used to play the football. Okay. So I remember one time we were playing a gala. I decided, no, this time I won't go to the Islamic school. Whatever happens, so we were playing a gala. And then I was playing Go. So people went to my house to go and call my father and the mother to come and say, hey, come and see your son. He's playing, I'm playing. You know, there was a big boys, but I was very little there because there wasn't a lot of goalkeepers, so they asked me to come and play.
Okay.
And that day, I was playing well. So they came and they were watching, they were happy. The way people were praising me, they were happy. So that day, I know after the game, they will punish me. But could you believe after the game, they even give me food to eat because of what they saw me doing.
I see.
So that even motivated me to keep going.
I see.
I will never forget this.
You escaped punishment that
Yes, I escaped that punishment that day.
You got good food to eat.
Good food to eat. Well, that time, it's not easy. You will get food to eat, but sometimes even to get a chicken, it's not easy. Unless salad days, like Christmas, before you can get chicken, even before you can get Fanta and Coke. But that day, you know, I was like the king in the house. You know, I would never forget that day. So that even motivates us. That means I need to be serious, but at the same time I need to be focused on the Arabic school, the Islamic school. So that's what even motivated me. They want me to go to Islamic school. Yes, they want me to go to Makaranta, but when they saw that I have the talent, sometimes when the coaches or the team owners come to the house to call me, sometimes they discuss them, no, we will let him go, but make sure he goes to Makaranta, he goes to Islamic school before he comes to play the football. So like it was combination of the Makaranta and then the football, because from Monday to Friday, for that one they know I'll go to school. But Saturday and Sunday is only for the Islamic school. That's the days we also play football. So I cannot say no, I won't go to the Islamic school because it's only 2 times in a week, and then that's when we play football. So I need to balance it and then move on with my career.
Well, interesting stuff there. Play good football and you sure will be treated like a king, isn't it? So you went through all of these phases. Now I want you to tell me what the standard was for you as children at the time, and who were the people who represented the standard that you wanted to aspire to, you know, at the time when you were growing up.
Well, I have my boss, my master, whom I will never forget about him, is Kujo Ado.
Kujo Ado, I see.
Kujo Ado, yeah.
At the time when you were growing up, where was he playing?
He was playing for Medina Republicans.
I see.
It's a Division 2 team. He played with Osu Benson, Emmanuel Sekufo, former House of Folk, and then some other guys, Gordon Ablodi. He used to play the same team in Medina.
I see.
And then before he moved on to play for Liberty Professionals.
Yeah, I see.
So he was in Medina. He was the top goalkeeper in Medina by then. So when I was growing, they advised me if I want to be a good goalkeeper, I should see Kujo Ado. Well, in Medina at that time, he was the
number one.
The number one. Because I wanted to also be a goalkeeper, I listened to them. He lives in Medina O Road, New Road, and I live at Medina O Road. So I need to walk from Medina O Road to New Road to go and see Kujo. Wait for him early in the morning to take care of the house, and then before he would carry me to Presec Park. There was a park in Presec. That's where we used to train.
Where their primary school is situated?
No, the school is the main park.
The main park, I see.
Yes, yeah. That's the park we have in Medina at that time. That has grass. The other parks are grassless. So Presec is like our Wembley.
I see.
So I will wait for Kujo Ado early in the morning. By then, the father wasn't well, so he has to take care of the father.
I see.
So I have to sit down and wait for him. When he's done, we move, and then we walk from Nero to Presec to go and train. So he's the one who has been encouraging me. To date, I don't joke with him because I know how he has helped me in my goalkeeping career.
When you look around the globe, I mean, he gave you the foundation in terms of giving you the basics in the sport and also in the department of goalkeeping. When you look around the globe and you look at all the big achievers as well, who is it that cuts it for you, and What specific thing about them is it that you picked up? You mean you've talked about Kujuado giving you the fundamentals. Now let's look around the globe and look at all the big competitions that have been played here on the continent and at the World Cup, which you've been to. Who is it in goalkeeping who cuts it for you and represents the standard, you know, globally?
Yes, I used to like Casillas. I like him because of he make goalkeeping very attractive and easy.
Okay.
Because of his position behind the ball all the time.
Positioning behind the ball
is fantastic.
I see.
That's the most important thing in goalkeeping. Position. Position is very important. So his position all the time behind the ball is fantastic. So I took a lot of inspiration from him. A lot of learning from him. That time, you know. But now we have other goalkeepers also coming up. So it's generation to generation. Understand? But I like him so much when he was playing because of his position behind the ball all the time.
Wow, amazing stuff. All right, let's get down to opportunities that you got. I mean, after you had that basic training and you decided to start reaching for bigger things. Walk us through the journey, the structure of you know, the lower divisions of football at the time, and how you had to find your way through to get to club football in the Ghana Premier League.
Well, I started from the coast, as I said earlier on, in Cape Coast. After I finished with school, I came down to Accra. I played for Medina Olivers, that's a Division 3, for 1 season. And I went there to play for Medina United, Division 2. That's Jordan, the late Jordan Angla's team.
Yeah.
Division 2.
The late Jordan Nagla was the management committee chairman of the Black Satellites team that won Ghana and Africa's first #20 FIFA World Cup. He was also vice president. He was a vice president of the Ghana Football Association as well.
Yeah, so I played for his team.
Rest in peace. Yes.
I played for his team for 2 seasons, and then I went to Ho to play for Ho Voradep. They were in Division 1 by then. I played for Ho Voradep for 3 years. I came down to Accra. I wanted a new challenge because I've played for Coast, Division 3, Division 2, Division 1. So what next? Premier Division. So the same Kujuado who took me to Liberty Professionals, but then he was playing for Liberty Professionals, so he took me there to go and do the Justified Trials. So I went there, a lot of top goalkeepers there, but they give me a chance to be training with them, but there's no chance for me, so I need to look elsewhere. So I came and then I started training with the youngsters at Kaneshi Complex. By then, a lot of goalkeepers stood there. So it took the intervention of Sumaila Abdallah. He was a goalkeeper for the youngsters. So we were playing some gala at Kaukudi. Like, you know, Nima, they have this, they used to play some area gala. So I went there to play for one community. So we were playing, and then this Sumaila came to me that Oko United wanted a goalkeeper, because they were having a goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper is going to Olympics. So there's a space there. We can see that. So they are playing Justified to pick a replacement. So I listened to him and then I went. So he has already spoken with Coach Sule Mohammed, who was a coach there, that I will come. So I went there. I went to training. It was Monday. I went, a lot of players that day, a lot of goalkeepers too. But I went to him and then I just greeted him. I said, I was a goalkeeper that's okay, Fatawu, okay. So he said I should stay. And then when they were playing, the next team that will come to play, he added me that I should play and go. So I went to go. We play for only 30 minutes because there are a lot of players. So they need to give every player a chance to play. So I had the chance to play for only 30 minutes. So after, they were supposed to play a game on Wednesday against Azakes in Takoradi. That day was 1st July. It was holiday. At that time, it was holiday. So they selected me to join the team to go and play that friendly game. So we have only one senior player who joined us to go to Takoradi to play that game. I went there and I played and go. We played against attackers and we drew that match. So when we were coming in the bus, I remember that senior player gave me 1 Ghana cedis that time because of the performance. Yeah. I've even forgotten that name, the name of the player, but I remember that day. He gave me 1 cedi in the bus. So when we came, the following week, they are starting the league, that's 2002. So we came to Accra. they organized everything quickly to get my document to get me registered so I can play the league. Our secretary was Mr. Oduronyako.
I see.
He was the secretary.
The legendary Mr.
And he's top man.
Yeah.
When it comes to player registration, he's top. So he said, oh, Fatawu, don't worry. We'll do everything. And then quickly, they arrested me. And then, could you believe I started playing, following the league started, I started playing. So that's how I had a chance to play for the Premier League. One training session, one friendly match, and then I had a chance. Once I've been going to clubs, Liberty, Deu, for so many weeks, no chance. So by then, that's when I realized that everything is time. So when the time was up, I got it easy. But maybe somebody feel like this is, but the person who don't know where I started from. So I started playing the league. By then, the Nkoko Stadium was closed. So we were playing our matches in the Accra Sports Stadium. We play on Saturday, and then Haas, and then Olympics will play on Sunday. Liberty, Oko United play us. We share Saturdays to play. When we go to away, they play home.
I see.
So I remember we play games, and then after one game against Kotoko, I remember after that game, the following day, I was invited to the National Under 20.
Wow.
Yeah, I was invited, and the name was in the newspapers all over. But then graphic sports was like people were buying. So every news you get it from graphic sports. It's only about sports. So we went to Unilever. I remember that. By then, if you go to national team, you need to take your own jersey. No sponsorship. It's not like now that even U15, U40, you get kits to wear. It's not like before. I went there like 2 weeks in camp, and I was dropped. Even I was happy because going to the national team by that time, it wasn't easy. I went there.
Were you psychologically prepared for the challenge at the 20 team at the time?
I was prepared.
Okay.
But I could see that my level
was not up there. Okay.
So when I was dropped, I took it in a good faith. So that motivated me to come back to my club to do more. So I was out from national team playing for Oko United for two seasons, 2 years, 2002, 2003. No national team for me. So I went to Ashgold. So we played Oko United. I remember we played a game against Gophers. By then it was Gophers in Obuasi. My first year went there. We lost 1-0, but I had a good game that day. The second season, 2003, we went there the same. They beat us 2-0, but I was the man of the match. And the supporters were chanting all the way that, no, this goalkeeper, we need to come for this goalkeeper. So we came to Accra, and I had a call from a man called Mr. Captain Andy Sam.
Yeah, Captain Andy Sam.
Yeah, he was the CEO for
Ashgold
Stadium.
Then Ashanti, Goldfields.
I picked the call. Hello, is this Fatawu? I said, yes. My name is Captain Andy Sam, the CEO of Ashgold. I said, oh, I was like, hey, this thing is coming to happen. So he said, you know, he wants me to come to Obuasi. Then they can do the necessary arrangement to get me from Oko United. I said, no problem. So I arranged myself. By then, it was Saturday. I was in town. I was at Aboagye, going to visit my Oko United supporters.
Oh,
and this call came. You know, Oko United supporters, they are great. Anytime we play the game, if I go to Aboagye, before I come home, the money that I will have, they will give me. It's more than even my salary.
I see.
Yes, they are very good in that. Very, very good. So I was in Aboagye when the call came.
Big shouts to all the fans in
Aboagye. Yeah, they are very good.
The conversation about reviving Oko United is also a whole conversation on its own.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had a call. I said, so the money that I have from Aboagye, I need to use the same money to go and buy new football. When you are going to a new club, you need to get new football boot. You need to get new sponge. You need to get new towel. I went to town to Katamatu to get all those things. And then I came home. I packed my things. Sunday, I moved to Circle, I think, OE Station, and joined Obuasi, straight to Obuasi. So I trained with the team for 1 week, and then they called Oduronyako to come for negotiation, and then they did everything the same day. The same day, they give me my check. Ashgold is a top club. The same day, I signed the contract. They asked me to go and see the accountant. I went to the account office. They gave me my check. And then I came to Accra. They gave me 1 week to come and prepare. I came and then I prepared and went to Ashgold. So that's where the journey started. So I played Ashgold for, I think, 11 or 12 years.
Wow.
In Ashgold.
That is a very big record, especially considering the players in your era and your peers in you know, in the domestic league. Having players sit stable for 11 to 12 years is just amazing. And that also brings me to Ashanti Gold at the time and its relevance and its space and its size, or the place it occupied within the bigger space of Ghana football at the time for you.
Yeah, it's a club that every player in the system want to play. If not Has, maybe Power FC, Kotoko, and Ashgood. They were a team that time. If you are playing, you feel comfortable to play.
Well, what impressed you the most at the time about Ashanti Gold and their setup and their structure?
Well, for the facilities, it's number one. The accommodation. Even when we went to train in the morning, they give us breakfast, and then every month they still pay you. Like the structure was even fantastic. Even by then, they were having partnership with IAS. Even IAS left, but they still have the resources that they gain from IAS. So when you are in the team, when you sign a contract, your salary, your bonuses, every time, you get it.
Wow.
Players don't complain about money, but everything was set. And the company, by then, were producing. So everything was good for the team. So when I was there, anytime a club wanted to come for me, Mr. Fianu, when Anisam left, it's Mr. Fianu who came to take over. So anytime a club will send a letter that they want me, they will tell me that they want me to play, so they will renew my contract. Then I will renew. So that's what kept me.
Why did you keep renewing your contract? And did you also get any offers from any clubs outside of here, outside of Ghana at the time?
At that time, the only club I have is in Ghana, the local.
The clubs were in Ghana, they were expressing
especially
interest.
Kotoko.
What was it that was keeping you at Ash Gold all the while? Because Ash Gold was a big feature, yes, at the time. However, there was a Kotoko and there was a Hearts.
Yeah, I feel like I consider some things. Sometimes decision making is very important. Decision making is very key. Sometimes I consider, okay, this is my club. I've been playing regularly. Although as a player, I need to go for a challenge. But I feel like, okay, this team want to come for me. They want to give me this amount. Okay, this club that I'm playing want to give me the same amount. And then they know me here. I feel like, no, let me just, because I don't want a situation like, I'm leaving the club, they'll not be happy. You know, when you are leaving the club, you need to be happy for the club to bless you. Like they always talk good about you. Even if you are coming back, they'll be happy to receive you. But if you are going and they say don't go, and you go, it will bring a lot of issues. So whenever a club comes for me, they ask me, so no, I want to go. They say, okay, we'll give you this to stay. And then I accept and then sign, renew the contract, and then stay and play for them. So that's why I kept so long in Ashgold. When the contract come, they also feel like, no, they won't allow me to go. They need to renew my contract and then add some money to my previous contract. So then I receive it and then sign and then play for them, because it's my own club.
And that made you a very comfortable player economically, you know, at the time, relatively a very comfortable player, you know, on the domestic scene.
Yeah, I remember the first house I built is from Ashgold.
I see.
From Ashgold. My mom was having a land, and then when I received my signing fee from Oko United to Ashgold, that's the money I used to build some 4 bedrooms on my mother's land.
I see.
And myself and my little brothers, we were benefiting on the house. So where I am now. So by then, if you are disciplined, the money that you have from the Premier League, trust me, you can do something with it. You know, things are changing now.
You've talked about discipline, and I'm throwing back to the time where you had different stories of players at the time, and those who were the big names like yourself, and you know, in the Ghana Premier League. And what were the pressures? What were some of the things that used to sway people to use their resources, you know, haphazardly?
Sometimes the society will put you somewhere for you to do something that you regret.
Okay.
Because when you were playing, you feel like, oh, maybe you are earning some money. If you look at your age, I have more years to play. So, okay, this money, let me just misuse it. I have more years. I can make another money football is not right. There's injury, anything can happen at any time. So I made use of the first money because it wasn't any big money that, but I feel like, no, I can do something with it. But some people feel like, no, this money is not, so let me use it to buy maybe a car or let me use it to do something different. And then if the money is not coming again, that's where the frustration starts coming. So it's about decision making. It's about how you see the money. You see like the money is small or the money is big. You need to do something, the right thing first. So when you do it and then you have something different comes, then that one will be like a bonus. So I didn't wait to make big money before thinking of where I will lay my head. By then, we are living in our father's house. If I should be somewhere, okay, this money that I have from Ashgood, I can use it to buy some cows. No, I didn't do that. I feel like, no, my father's house, I'm not alone. I'm not the only child. So I need to start doing something on my own. So it's about decision the players sometimes they take.
Welcome aboard the AM show. Time now for my blunt thoughts, and I've titled them this morning, Heavenly Promises with Hellish Outcomes, Tax Withdrawals and Loose Talk, Ghana's Elections Saga. Ghana 4, I'll take you straight to my slides this morning because as it's political season, maybe you can call it crazy season, our politicians are saying, some of them, anything just to court your votes. And I'm not saying that those I'm about to address are necessarily those, but I'm saying that some of the promises being made, honestly, we have to assess them. We have to dissect them. We have to get surgical with them and find out the NPP is saying this, the NDC is saying that, Alan Chemating and others. Cheddar said he would connect the sea from Kumasi to, you interrogate that and it doesn't make any sense. Oh, we'll give you phones, 1 CD, 2 CDs. Doesn't make any sense. The former president, will do a number of these things and create jobs in IT and coding. So let's get critical, let's get surgical, because that's the only way we can push these politicians to let us know exactly what they have planned. And that is why today, as part of what I'm going to be doing ahead of the elections, I am going to start from here. So the NDC's Youth Manifesto Launch, key educational promises. The former president says, and the NDC is saying, no academic user fees for freshers at the tertiary level. So level 100s, no, AFUFs. And they have explained that it's tuition, which is about 2,000 cedis per student, right? Free tertiary education for disabled students. Private SHS and free SHS, beds for all, and then enhanced student loan. I'll stay here and just tell you this. Those I fundamentally agree with. In principle, free tertiary education for disabled students, I support that. I completely support it. They are at a disadvantage. How can we give them a leg up? I support that. Bed for all policy, I support that. An enhanced student loan so that those who struggle can get more money from there, pay their way through, and then when they work, systems in place so that the state can recoup what it has invested. Now, when it comes to private SHS and free SHS, yes, we've heard calls by CHAS, among others, but the question is, most of these people taking their children to private institutions can facilitate, they can take care of the fees. From where I sit and what I see and what I know, if you disagree with me, let me know. So why extend it to that level? I mean, there's the public system where the masses go. Why let it go private as well? In enhancing it, will we not be falling into the same trap that the IMF spoke about? That our free SHS has not been properly coordinated. I don't know. I have my problems with this angle to the conversation. Now, this bit about no academic user fees for freshers, right? It's a good idea. But again, will the families of the level 100s going to 200, 300, and 400, for example, will they be better off? Will they be any richer when they move to those levels after level 100? So what then will change? It could become like free SHS, where we've made it mass, free for all, everyone is in there, the rich, the poor. If it's not properly stratified, structured, it could be problematic. It could be problematic. It would be as though we were taking the diseases of free SHS and infecting or infesting our tertiary education with it. We should be careful with that. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but how sustainable will it be over time, for example? That's one thing to contemplate. Now, if we go to our next slide, then you would see the explainer. 250 million cedis is what has been targeted by the NDC to facilitate this. The next slide will give us the breakdown. Next slide. The number of students, we know it hovers around 125,000. The cost per student, like I said, 2,000 Ghana cedis. If you put that together, the total cost, 250 million Ghana cedis. How are they saying they will explain, they will fund it? So if you look at the Get Fund revenue, 2024, the projection 7.93 billion Ghana cedis. The projection in 2025, 9.91, 2026, 11.5, 2027, 13.3 billion. So they see a pot that they can tap out of. And if you look at, for example, the 2024 Get Fund distribution, from the second cycle institutions, 1.5 billion, tertiary got 1.09 billion. So you are basically taking a quarter from here. 800 million for basic education, others securing 332 million, the debt servicing 88 million, and then MPs 68 million for their own purposes as far as education is concerned. Next slide. Now, if you look at the free SHS budget, because you have to factor all of that into the pool, Get Fund among others, and they have spoken about uncapping, yes. But if you look at it currently, you're looking at an average of 1.95 billion from a low of 0.4 billion, somewhere between 2017 and 2018, all the way to a high of 2.95 billion around 2023, and now dipping to about 2.75 billion. Next slide. So if you look at it in that context, it is doable, but under an IMF program, under excruciating economic circumstances, would it be the best way to go? Can we sustain it? I always say that if you want to do something, it may be good, but can you sustain it so that it stays? As for education being free, from nursery, kindergarten, all the way to the tertiary level, some places have it. But if we want to execute it, what is going to be the plan? Let's not have another free SHS problem at the tertiary level. It could be problematic, very problematic. Food for thought. But from there, I want to talk about taxes. And I've spoken about some of the promises being made by, political parties, especially the main ones, the NDC and the NPP. Now, there has been talk about scrapping the e-levy, the former president, the COVID-19 levy, and betting tax. I'll say this, I'm not a betting man. I never do this. I don't bet. I don't know what the future brings, but I don't bet. I find it difficult. You say people don't have jobs. Some of them are struggling. Yes, there are rich people who also engage in betting. Yes. But I go around the Nima, Newtown, Pig Farm, and other places. Go to some of the other areas. People don't have jobs. This is what they do. What Brett, what Tim Fifree, in the betting. No? Yes, you will say, oh yeah, he's also done some work. Why do you have to tax this as well? Another 10%. What do you want? And what do you even use the money for? You see, it's not so much of we've taken the money. What do we see them using the money for? Look at our roads. Go to hospital, you'll not get a bed. It's so maddening sometimes. So this, I think it can go. This COVID-19 levy has never made sense to me in the first place. We are raking in quite a bit of money from there. But why should we still be paying for the COVID-19 levy? And again, how much have they used our money for? But this one, the e-levy, while I have wanted it to go, what we are raking in from there, I think we should tread cautiously in terms of, we'll take it. Because if you take off all these tax handles, go to the next slide. If you take off all these tax handles, you would realize that you are slowly getting into a position where you may have to introduce other ones through the back door. So let politicians be careful. If you look at the taxes to be scrapped, the lost revenue 2025 to 2027 will amount to that, 27.9 billion Ghana cedis. Next slide. Now, if you look at the breakdown, COVID-19 levy is giving us 13.91 billion between the 2025 and 2027 period, 2 years. Or better still, 2.5 years more. 8.27 for the e-levy, 5.1 billion, that's 10% withholding tax, on betting. So I feel our politicians should tread cautiously on this matter. But I want to wrap with some of the inflammatory comments that have been put out in recent times and say that Ghana, let us shine our eyes and stay away from violence. Don't do violence for any politician. Let their children go and do that. They send their children abroad and they want you to go and do nonsense. And I'll see some of you typing, I'm sorry, nonsense when we are doing shows for your benefit, your future. Some of you foot soldiers, NPP, NDC will be typing nonsense, sending it to us. Oh, this one is this, that one is that. Your future, you don't know. Me, at least. I have got somewhere on the educational ladder. God has been gracious to me. You are struggling somewhere with one CD bundle and you are speaking trash. Your future is on the line. Your children's future is on the line if you don't know it. So follow politicians. Now, April 2023, at the NPP's Unity Walk, Eastern Region, Brian Echampo, he's someone I meet all the time. I wouldn't call him a friend. He's an acquaintance. I like him. But some of the things he does and says, I don't know. It will never happen that we, the NPP, will stand on the platform to hand over power to the NDC. If the NDC dares to resort to threats, violence, and imprudence during the 2024 election, we will demonstrate our strength. What kind of strength do you mean? What strength is that? We will show them that we are well prepared. Prepare to win the electorate over. Don't prepare for anything else. Next slide. Then, March 2024, NPP Unity Walk, Eastern Region. Last year, I stood here in Impreso and said that whether NDC likes it or not, they will never win the December polls, and therefore the NPP will not hand over power to them because they cannot win the elections. How can you even speak like this? In a democracy, no matter your intent, he's come out to clarify, oh, I didn't mean. Why would you say something like this? Why? Looking at our political temperature. If you cannot win elections, why do you want power to be given to you at all costs? Next slide. Then, again, so we will do whatever it takes to win the elections. We're a political party that has pastors, imams, and traditionalists. So whatever means we would take to win the elections, we would do so. Burn the sea, if you don't understand. We'll win and continue with our good works. I don't know. Opa Akoshipo. Opa Akoshipo. Even, it's not even the best of temperate language to use. But you have imams, you have traditionalists, you have Christians. Unless you mean they are going to vote for you, I don't see how else they can help you. But the responses, which is where I'll end, the NDC also comes in. And this is what I don't like. Fire for fire. Do you want the country to burn? We just observed when Brian Echampo, attempted to take over the hotels and we intervened. And now he dares to say he will not hand over power to former President Mahama. Next slide. I have a message for him. On December 9th, if the people vote for John Mahama and your MPs, if he is truly a man, let him refuse to hand over power and he will see what happens. When iron meets iron, you will see fire. We don't want any iron. We don't want any fire. You politicians, please, leave the masses out of your halabaloo, your nonsense that all of you play. Leave us out of it. Let's save Ghanaian children. Sometimes both of you. The Peace Council responds, there is nothing wrong when politicians make statements that they are optimistic of winning an election because no one goes to an election and hopes to lose. As long as they do not cross the line, the red line. And Peace Council, this is where sometimes the red line has been crossed many times. You say you are doing stuff backdoor, but is it enough? By threatening to use the police, the military, or other means of violence. We saw 8 people die in the last elections. We shouldn't get there again. Then, this is where I'll end. The Most Reverend Matthew Jamefi, Catholic Bishops' Conference president, says, why is it that during every election time there is tension? Why? NDC, NPP, NDC, why? And you destroy the peace of the entire country, making us anxious. We are all sitting on tenterhooks. Hey, how is it going to go? How will it be a smooth transition and all of that? Why do we have to go through all these shenanigans every electoral cycle? Because you, especially the NPP and the NDC, foster it for whatever nefarious reasons. We are very concerned because when tensions build up and it is not controlled, then ultimately it explodes and we all suffer. And I keep saying, these politicians who come and sit here, how many of them have seen anything in terms of strife? Me, when I was very little in Nigeria, my family saw it. In Liberia, I saw it with my own eyes in Monrovia. Liberia has still not recovered, even up to today, to what that place used to be like. So let's watch our language. These politicians, a lot of them have seen nothing. Asemba says, yeah, They will japa and leave the rest of you here. Use your, and don't work for selfish politicians. I'm speaking today to young people. We need Juma. Look at the number of NEETs. Not in education, not in employment, not in training. My name is Benjamin Akakpo. These are my blunt thoughts. Sometimes I get so livid, even with the very people you fight for. These are my blunt thoughts shared with you, raw, hot, and edited, undiluted. God bless Ghana and make our nation great and strong. Welcome back on the AM show. In 2 days, the NPP will launch its 2024 manifesto in Takoradi in the Western region. This, of course, comes days after the NDC launched its youth manifesto with some freebies for level 100 university students, so that what are we likely to hear from the NPP? And in fact, what should be in it for you and for me? All these promises, what are in them? What can we expect from the NPP come Sunday? We'll be seeking answers this morning. We're joined by the mouthpiece for the Bawumia campaign. I'm talking about Dennis Miracles Aboagye. He joins the conversation. Good morning.
Morning, bro. How we doing?
I like your feel this morning. A bit of swag kakra, easiness kakra. Today they want more suitor.
It's a Friday.
It's a Friday, oh, so you wanted to match me boot for me.
Yeah, Friday there, you know, you have to take it easy. Another Monday will come there, you know, resurrect.
We hit.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. I mean, I know you've been around, you've been in the Ashanti region recently and all of that. When you go around, what do you see? And I'm not talking, spare me the politics, spare us the politics, but it's not about, oh, there's support for Bawumia or there's no support for Mahaman. But what do you see from the ordinary Ghanaian when you go around? What are you seeing?
I mean, human needs are insatiable. The people on a daily basis require leadership to be there for them. The over 30 million people at various levels of social and economic progress. And so everybody, you know, have their own needs and demands that leadership must create that environment for them to thrive. And for me, I think that's what this whole thing we are doing is all about. And it's not changed. And it's not going to change. Everywhere you go, Ashanti, Eastern, Western, Savannah, Upper East, Upper West, it's the same thing. The mason wants to wake up in the morning and have something to do. The carpenter wants to be productive. The taxi driver or the church driver wants to come back home in the evening and, you know, open his wallet and count how much it is that he's made. The market
and be able to take care of his family.
Absolutely. The market woman is expecting that he goes to the market and it will be a good market day. The young child that is dreaming to be a lawyer, a medical doctor, a teacher, has an opportunity to dream, and it doesn't end only with dreams, but has that enabling factors to serve as a launchpad for them to become whatever it is that they become. And so that basically is what the people are looking for. The people also acknowledge that it's always work in progress. But at every point in time, there's a child that is in primary, there's a child that is in basic, GHS, there's a child that is in secondary school and the university. At every point in time, there's a Ghanaian citizen that needs medical care. At every point in time, there's a Ghanaian citizen that wants to be able to move conveniently from one point to the other. So you always have to be there for them. And the people are always going to ask of you what it is that you plan to do for them to be able to thrive in their daily lives. And I think that's what I see, that's what I hear, that's what I encounter, and that's what I gather from the feedback and the faces of the people.
So expectation, I'm sure the expectations are very high ahead of this election. For me, from where I sit, I've watched the political space. You've also been in the political space. I don't know what you see, but I feel that this election is the one with highest expectations, because I feel the 2016 election had some high expectations because of the change we expected and everything. But I feel in this election, the expectations are even higher, because I speak to a lot of Ghanaians, just as I'm sure you do. And there's so much they feel the Fourth Republic hasn't served us as much as it ought to. So people are very expectant, and that's why there's also the rhetoric that careful what you promise. Both sides, because now the people are
no, I mean all of us. All of us. I think that we must be fair to the generations that have come to pass. Every time we go for an election, the people have a right to be expectant. Because the reason why they are going to the polls is to vote for a leader that will be there for them. And I doubt if there's ever been an election in this country where the people were not expectant or were less expectant than we're experiencing now. It's all about the euphoria that bells along the way. I mean, which of the elections did we have, even in our Fourth Republic, that didn't have high expectation? 1992 was a fresh one. People were excited, people were expectant, people wanted to go to vote. 96, well, let's do it. 2000 was a big deal.
I'm not saying there are never expectations, but I feel, for example, 2000 with Kufuor coming in, I saw the expectations. I felt it was a different vibe, and you could tell something was shifting. 2016, I felt that vibe. You see, I've skipped 96, 2000, 2016, and 2024. I mean, we go out, and when you have interactions with people, it appears.
But the point is that as political leadership, you have a responsibility to convince the people. I think it's the right thing to do. Give the people a compelling reason to trust you to lead them going into the future, and that's what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is bringing on board. And like you said, ultimately, all these things that we are doing is to ensure that every Ghanaian everywhere gets to be productive and is able to feel safe in his own country, is able to feed his family, is able to provide the basic needs for his family. And then we all live a very decent life. It's all about food, shelter, and good health. And I think that if the people are highly expectant of these things, then there's a reason we need to give them that. And that's why, for me, conversations like these are very important. I mean, I saw you make a lot of presentations. I think that is what this election should be about. I think this election should be less of emotions and sentiment. I think this election should be about properly interrogating the issues and separating selfish personal interest from what it is that would directly benefit the people. And if you are involved in all of these and in shaping the conversation, and you do not situate yourself in that space, then you are being very, very unfair to the people, and you may have to answer to it at one point or in time. I think that our conscience should prick us to let us go to the people and say, this is genuinely what I think my solution is to A, B, C, D. What do you think? And give them a reason to trust that you would be able to deliver. But it's not enough for us to just go about, like you said, just go and be telling them, no. And I think, in fact, if you compare the Ghanaian voter this year to the Ghanaian voter 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, 20 years ago, we've seen a lot of progress. People are analyzing things a lot more differently. People are breaking down things a lot more differently. And that's why you see that you're not getting that feel that you're expecting to get, in previous elections, because people are really analyzing the situation.
You also have
an interesting election.
You also have social media and Gen Zs who are viewing things from a very different
all angle. The things you are reading
we are not doing today. Before 2000 newspapers. What
these things we are discussing today, and they were discussed last night. Everything on this front page was discussed last night. So there's a whole lot of difference in the voter, orientation.
Let's quickly get into the NDC's Youth Manifesto ahead of. They've come through with that, and you are now coming through, and they will later also come through with their own manifesto. If you look at the Youth Manifesto, the number of times youth was used in that 143-page document, 73 times, and 57 promises made. I don't think I need to remind you of them. I know you're fully aware of what promises were made. In terms of the 2020 manifesto and similarities, upskilling the youth in digital skills, introducing a 24-hour economy policy, training 1 million youth in coding, something that your side has also dabbled in, establishing a Ministry of Youth Development. There's also increasing access to quality education from basic to tertiary levels. And of course, that's where the tuition fee for level 100s at our tertiary institutions, public tertiary institutions, comes in. reducing data costs, dedicating funding for free senior high school. There's a whole lot more that is made mention of that I could get into. Increasing access to quality education, partnering with religious bodies and NGOs for skills development. You can talk about the private SHS structure also coming on board, free SHS. Your reactions to that. I want to get into yours, your own manifesto launch, but let's start from the NDC's youth manifesto.
Honestly speaking, I have very little to say about this because, you know, the reason we put out manifestos is to try and profess solutions to the obvious issues that the Ghanaian people would want solutions to. I think the real issue here is not about listing the things. The real issue here is about testing the credibility of the people who are listing these things and as to whether they can do it. I mean, when I come and meet you at home and I realize you haven't eaten the whole day, the easiest thing for me to say, I'll give you food. Isn't that the solution? So I'll tell you, I'll give you food. But the question is, do you believe I'll give you food or not? And that's where the real detail is.
So following through on promises?
Oh, of course. I mean, otherwise, putting it together in manifesto is not a big deal. You just look at all the challenges and issues, and then you list. You don't have bed, I'll give you bed. You don't have food, I'll give you food. You don't have water, I'll give you water. That's all you are putting. That's basically what they've done.
But it's not what all of you do.
Yeah, that's the point I'm saying. No, there's nothing wrong with that because you're putting solutions together. But the difference is the credibility to deliver. And the people would look at you and do a litmus test on you to check whether you are one that has ever had an opportunity to do these things and what did you do? How did you handle it? And whether they can trust that these things you are listing are things you can do. You pick the NDC's manifesto they put together in 2012, and you realize that they succeeded in implementing just about 23%. That's what they did, 23%. So if you bring me a manifesto in 2024 and you list 76 policies, I'm going to pick what you did when you came to me some time ago. And I gave you an opportunity to come and lead me and see whether the things you told me you would do, you actually did them. And then I'll pick your opponent and see what your opponent said they would do and see whether the things they said they would do, they did them. That is what the Ghanaian voter is going to use to take a decision. But I can tell you otherwise, that's why you always hear the political parties throw allegations at each other. You have stolen my idea, so because their challenges are the same. And the solutions to the challenges are the same.
I want your quick take on this. Well, there's a comment that comes through. This person says, the compelling reasons they give for us to vote, and this came to me personally, so it's not on the compelling reasons they give for us to vote. I think you should, I want you to pay attention to this. The compelling reasons they give for us to vote should also be truthful.
Yeah.
And it should be about more than the basics of food and work and housing.
Absolutely.
We can't always be fighting for the base of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. At what point do we start striving for self-actualization, which is at the top, which is where you are living a certain decency of life and you are fulfilling, basically you are living your best life.
You see,
and you are using your talents to the best of your ability. Where do we get there? They are basics now.
No, because you see, the basics are crucial. What governments are responsible to do, basically, is to make sure that everybody has that enabling environment. That's what government's role is all over the world. Make sure that everybody has the needed platform to acquire the right skills. Make sure that everybody gets the needed room to get educated. Make sure that when somebody is sick, they all have access to good quality health care. Make sure that when it comes to public transportation, everybody has access to it. Those are the things. You create that opportunity so that everybody can use that as a launch pad to head towards self-actualization. I mean, self-actualization is not given by any government. You would have to make sure that the enabling environment...
And that's exactly what I was about to say.
Nobody.
Create the environment.
Exactly.
And allow people to make it possible. So if someone doesn't get there, you can say, this person decided...
That is why you can't run away from the basics. Because the basics is basically what the launch pad is. The basics, food, shelter, good health, access to...
I think the point the person is making is that we've been at the basics for so long.
But we are not...
Government in...
Tell me one country that has...
This will be our eighth election.
Tell me one country that has...
Within this cycle.
Tell me one government that has left there. The US is still campaigning on health insurance. The US is campaigning on accommodation, real estate.
I think when you say those, you must look at it's like saying, oh, the US inflation is this.
No, but
it's always context.
No, but you are telling
me...
No. You are telling me that
How many of them are in those situations?
Asking you for
and what is the quality of it?
I'm asking for an example.
Oh,
you see,
but I can always point you to the Scandinavian nations, which are always, when it comes to Human Development Index, quality of life.
It's the basics. It's the basics. It doesn't change.
They are always
it's
high
the same.
What do they use?
No, it's the same thing. It's health, education, accommodation. Those are the things.
How have they got to that level?
But
within what period?
You see, I am with you. Don't make it look like we're debating. I am with you. I am saying that no government moves away from the basics. That is your job. So we shouldn't give them good roads, give them electricity, give them access to internet, give them access to food, give them good health, give them education. That is government's job. And those are the basics. So you have to make sure that you create these environments for your people to thrive. So I am 100% with you on that. But I am saying this. It's not enough for you to list 76 promises. Let me give you a quick example. You remember in 2008, in fact, in 2003, when the then NPP government President Kufuor decided to introduce health insurance to make it universally free for everybody in the country, the NDC opposed it. In fact, they boycotted Parliament. They called it all manner of names. They said we're not ready until health insurance was introduced. Then fast forward.
But there had been proposals for that, even in the NDC period.
No,
you know that?
No, it's false. In fact, let me tell you, it is a Catholic.
Even
it is false. It is false.
There had been proposals on that.
It is false.
What is false?
There was. So are you talking about proposals or health insurance? I say proposals.
I'm saying that there had been discussions.
But if you propose,
so hold on.
Hold on.
Wouldn't necessarily be that let's never do it or something of the sort. Of course, there would be concerns about.
No. It was about let's not do it. It was about it. It is a fact. But the records are there. No. Are you going to? The facts are there. It's not about speculation.
Go ahead.
In the year 2003, when the National Health Insurance was being done, the NDC were emphatic. They were emphatic. Like the same way when we're trying to introduce free education, the education minister of the NDC said that even in Nkrumah and the Soviet Union, Leo Kran, he's on video, on your own platform. He said that even Nkrumah couldn't do free education, universally free education. And that if free education was easy, Nkrumah and the Soviet Union would have done it on video, in an interview in your studios. So they made those comments. Fast forward. When National Health Insurance was introduced and they realized, hey, this is fixing a big issue for the people. And that has become a big deal for our people. And if you don't align with the National Health Insurance, you're not likely to win an election. Do you know what the NDC did? In 2008, 5 years later, they said, oh, you know what? The National Health Insurance that we boycotted, the National Health Insurance that we fought against, these people who brought it, they couldn't even do it well. And that, vote for us. When you vote for us, that health insurance that we said wasn't possible, we will bring one-time premium and that we can even implement it better than they did. This was the NDC. Then we voted for them. In fact, one of the reasons why the Ghanaian people voted for the NDC in the 2008 elections was because they promised a one-time premium for national health insurance. 8 years in office. 8 years in office, they didn't only not fulfill that promise, but they even almost collapsed the national health insurance to the extent that 1.5 million beneficiaries left the policy because it was non-functional. Now, it's the same game plan. Introduce free SHS. They fought against free SHS from its inception policy idealization point, 2008. When the NPP announced it, they said, oh, it's not possible. It cannot be done. Forget them. This is not something that is easy. Nkrumah would have done it. Everybody, they said they are not going to implement free SHS on the whimsical promises of a desperate politician. John Mahama said that if he has 2 billion, he will not put into free SHS. The aide to John Mahama, Felix Kwachofosu, said that it is a scam. It is nothing but a scam. Fifi Kwete said it is an all-lie-be-lie policy. This same group. Now, 8 years down the line, they sit down and realize that these guys brought universal access to health. They brought proper FQ under President Kufuor when he made capitation possible at the basic level. They have brought free senior high school, which has led to over 5.7 million Ghanaians, 5.7 million homes getting access to higher education. Now, the Ghanaian people are very interested in this. If we don't find a way to align with this, we are going to be in trouble. So they said that, aside all the things we said against the free senior high school, we have an election to win. Let's tell them what they want to hear. You know what, Ghana? The free SHS that we fought against, these people who brought it, they couldn't even do it well. Vote for us. Even though we fought against it, we can implement the thing that we fought against better than the people who brought the idea. So vote for us. We'll make private schools part of the free SHS. We improve the thing that we said it wasn't possible. And then you know what? When your students that we said will not pay for them to go to secondary education, if they hustle, if they struggle, if they strive and shed blood to go through the secondary education and they manage to get to tertiary level, for the universities, when they come to level 100, we'll pay for that level 100 fees for them to go to school. Forget about those who will go to the colleges of education. We'll cancel their college allowance because they don't matter. Forget about the nursing colleges. We'll cancel it because they don't matter. The polytechnics are not part of it. But for those who come to the university, we love them so much.
So
we'll
the bottom line,
hold on. We'll pay for their level 100 education. When they finish, whatever happens to them at level 200, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is that it is the same gameplay that the NDC played the entire country in 2008 with the National Health Insurance that they are doing now. They have noticed that education is crucial and it's at the heart of the Ghanaian populace. They have berated it. They have fought against it. In fact, at some point, they fought the beneficiaries of free SHS and the teachers.
We could say
by
that
calling
it's a game that
by calling them. No, we don't have such records. We don't have such record, and that is why this morning. No. See,
as the NPP.
So don't say it's the same.
It in different
something
ways,
that is the same cannot be different.
Education too. But let me.
No, hold on.
No.
Something that is the same.
Let me make this point.
Something that is the same cannot be different. So you cannot tell me that we play the same and say we do it differently. We are not like them. We have no such record.
Right.
You cannot point me to a single evidence of this gameplay that I've pointed to the NDC of we doing it. And that is why even this morning, I'm not sitting here telling you that making level 100 tertiary education free is not possible. I think it is. I think it's something that can be done. I think that if you've been able to pay for these children to go through secondary education, then if you are committed, like the NPP was committed in giving them free quality secondary education, then you can take them through tertiary, not just level 100 education, but even the entire tertiary education. And that is why, for us, we believe that at least, if not for anything at all, those who are in the colleges of education, the nursing colleges, should continuously benefit from the safety net, social safety net of having allowances to go through the education, whilst we work on the other aspects. So we believe in that. But the biggest point now is, do you think Ghanaians believe John Mahama and the NDC to do this based on their record they have in the past? Is a big no.
Well, you asked me for one. We can talk about schools under trees and what the the vice president said. Do you know how many of those schools under trees we saw?
But do you understand what we are saying? Was there anything about school under trees that we fought? Did the NDC say they are going to fix school under trees?
I'm talking about promises made.
No. That is not. So you see, don't say that is not the argument. The argument is about a political party, NDC, saying that a policy is not possible, only for them to turn around and say, now the thing we said is not possible, we can do it.
In any case,
so it is not true. What you are saying is not correct.
In any case, it's not about correct.
No, but it's not correct. It's the fact. It's not correct.
It is not about incorrect.
What you are saying is not related to the scenario we are discussing. It's not correct.
You may put it in that context, but,
but
it is correct that promises were made.
Yeah, promises were made. So we can go through that, of course.
But
we said we brought a manifesto that we've done 80%.
Relax.
So what you are saying is not true.
Let me say this.
That is not related to the point we are making.
Calm down.
No, we are calm. We're having a conversation. Why not?
Because I can, we can.
If you make a point that is not true.
I'm trying to be calm with you this morning.
No. If you take
it there, you know how we do.
No. You made a point that is not correct. I am at liberty to point it out.
It is not incorrect.
It is incorrect.
But let me make this point.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Is it not only a fool, as the philosophers will say, who never changes his mind? Let's say that all that you've said, education, is true, right? Granted, let's say that. If, whether NPP or NDC, the opposition says something, and you feel, okay, they came and they've actually executed this. I was wrong in thinking that maybe it wasn't as feasible as I thought. But they have executed it to a certain level. And I feel, honestly, if you've done this, I think I could actually take it a notch higher. Is that wrong?
No, there is nothing wrong. But the point is that, you see, the issue is
but you keep going on, Fifi Abikwete said this and all of that, which I agree with you.
Hold on.
No, relax. Whatever they said doesn't mean that the person cannot come back.
I have told you that
we can do it better.
I have told you that there is nothing wrong. But you see, again, I have told you that it is about trust and integrity and credibility. Because if you are known to be a liar, if you are known to be one that doesn't stick to your promises, if you are known to be one that has evidence, record of not sticking to your promises, that is what the Ghanaian people use to judge you and measure you. So I gave you a specific scenario. You see, you don't allow, there's a saying in Tree, you don't allow somebody to step on your balls twice. It's early morning, the children are in school. You know the way they say.
You could have used gonads instead of.
No, so that you know what I'm talking about. It's like
we can't use those.
So we've seen it before.
Those terms.
We've seen it before. So you see, it is all about making the promises. There's nothing wrong. And I have told you that I don't see any of the things in the NDC manifesto that cannot be done. Each of them are possible because we believe in possibilities. These are things that go to confront the challenges of the country. But the Ghanaian people do not trust them to deliver. Because in the
they
past,
trust you.
Of course, because we have records.
They trust the NPP.
Why not?
Deliver.
Why not?
You look at the status of our economy. You look at 1D1F and this execution. You look at one village, one dam. The 1 million per constituency.
So there's something called
the execution of free SHS.
Yes.
Brilliant policy. I've always had my problems with part of it.
So there's something that
trust you.
That is why you are going into an election. The reason why you go to the better than the NDC. The reason why you go to the ballot is because you have to make a choice between one person and the other person in a human society.
Right.
So definitely, that's why I say our manifesto, we've done just about 80%. So there are 20% of our manifesto that we haven't been able to fulfill.
You've done 80%?
Yes.
According to what survey?
There is there, but go and look at it. I've given you the figure.
According to what survey?
We have run an analysis of our manifesto. You have it. You are a journalist.
The NPP. Yeah.
You have the manifesto. Run the analysis.
That's exactly why I'm asking.
No, run it.
According
yes,
to what?
80%.
This is you.
No.
You are saying this. It's like looking at the performance tracker.
Be fair.
It's like looking at the performance tracker. You know how many problems we've found?
Can I speak?
How many? I allow you to speak a lot, so let me also speak. How many? I don't want to use the word, but how many inaccuracies?
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you a specific question. If you haven't done it, you haven't done it. Have you run an analysis of implementation in this MPP's manifesto? What percentage did you get?
Have I run what?
An analysis of the implementation of the MPP's manifesto. What percentage did you get?
I don't have a personal
exactly.
No, relax. But I have seen some of these surveys that do not have anything close to your 80%.
Which one was that survey? Let me check it now for the viewers.
I don't remember.
Exactly.
But I'm saying that there have been a number of approaches.
Don't do this. Don't let us
relax. There have been a number of how would I say? I wouldn't call them surveys. But they have analyzed some of the promises you've made. Even if I look at your anchor projects, your flagship projects, and that's what I just mentioned. I mentioned about 5 of them.
Can I speak now?
What would be your execution rate on these 5?
Hold on. Can I speak now? So I told you that we've implemented 80% of our manifesto. Then you tell me that we've done an analysis of some of them and it's not been done. Of course, there's a 20% that hasn't been done. That's why I asked you a specific question. You challenge the 80%.
But 20% that has not been done.
No.
I see.
You challenge, so you don't have a figure and yet you are challenging the figure. It doesn't add up. Before I confront you and say that your analysis of a figure is wrong, I should have mine. So no worries, there is time. Take your time. Take the manifesto of the MPP. Take the manifesto of the NDC. Do the analysis. Come back. Show it like you have done here. Don't come and say it with your mouth.
Tell me.
Line by line.
Tell me, Dennis.
Hold on.
What goes into the 20%?
Why do you do this?
The 20% that is left.
Why do you do this?
The 20% that is.
Why do you do this?
But you know we have a time. Right?
Yes, but
we don't have all the time.
So you
because I want us to get into.
So you want to take all the time.
Okay, you finish. When you're done, tell me the 20% now. What goes into the 20%?
So you see, go and take it. Bring it to your screens. Line by line. They said they would do this. Have they done? They said they do it. Then when we finish, we calculate.
So let's do a quick line by line. We can do the flagship.
No.
Let's do a quick. Why no?
Bring the manifesto.
Let's do a quick line by line on the
I'm not going to let you to flee.
1D1F, 1 village, 1 dam, 1 million per constituency.
You're not helping the conversation. You see what you are doing is
planting for food.
What you are doing is one of the
things
things that we usually do to our viewers. That amounts to misinformation and disinformation.
What is misinformation about this?
You cannot run
20%. I'm saying take it on these.
Have you done it?
Give me.
Have you done it? You haven't.
No, but you say you've done it, right? But so tell me. You say you've done it. So tell me.
Can I speak? So listen. I am not one of those people that jumps around and do some of these things. You run an analysis on a set of data. You have 100 things.
You say 80%.
Would you let me speak?
You say 80%.
Yes, we have done 80%.
On the 80%, the 20% you found that has not been done. I'm not even saying so for example, mine. I'm saying what you have done.
Hold on.
Give me the 20% on these flagship programs. For example, what is left?
So for example, listen. We have run a test on our manifesto to determine that there are 80% of the things that we said we have done that we've been able to do. there is a 20% that is outstanding that we haven't been able to entirely complete. I'll give you a quick one. Look at the macroeconomic indicators. When we came to office, one of our main objectives was to move our inflation to a single digit, which we succeeded in doing between 2017 and 2024. But today, it's around 20%, from 15% to 20%. Clearly, it means that we haven't been able to achieve that, have we? Look at our forex exchange, our foreign exchange, and the currency. Clearly, we haven't been able to do that, have we? So, if I tell you that we have done 80%, it is not up to you, who hasn't done any analysis, to come and tell me that is not true. Then you ask me to tell you how you arrived at your non-80%. It doesn't add up.
You have to watch where you're going.
No, but
I'm merely saying,
have you done it? Have you done it?
Your purported survey.
Have you done it?
No, some things have been done on some sectors.
Which one? Do you have
some sectors have been done?
Which one?
I don't have the information here. I'm saying that some sectors.
Isn't that some sectors part of the 20%, even if you identify something like that?
Okay, so you've had your say. Let me talk. We've done analysis.
Exactly, talk about that.
In blunt thoughts, for example, I've used some data on, let's say, education, on different aspects. I don't have them immediately before me. I will not be one of those who will come and say something because I don't have the information here. But I'm saying that you claim you've conducted a survey and that 80% is done. The 20% you should have a fair.
But I've told you.
So that you can complete.
But I have just
and I was putting you to your flagship program and you keep fleeing.
But no, I've just told you. You said the 20% that we haven't done. I've just told you some of the 20%. So what are you talking about? How do you contend somebody's analysis when you don't have a contrary figure? So speculations. Throw it in the air and then we move on. That will not be allowed. Have you done a test? And I think it can be done. Again, it's not too late.
Let me ask you this.
It's not too late. We still have time, 4 months. You can run that test. I think you should do it.
If the performance tracker is if the performance tracker is what, because I believe the performance tracker then should be a key point to analyze what you've done and what you've not done, right? Yes, absolutely. And if that is the standard, so you agree that that gives us pure evidence.
Why not?
If that is the standard, then we are lost.
What is your figure? What is your figure?
What, if that
you are doing it based on the screen that you watch.
But
why are you doing this to your viewers? Have you done analysis of the performance tracker vis-a-vis the manifesto?
Let me ask you.
No, have you done that?
Let me ask you.
So how did you come to that conclusion?
As for the analysis
against the manifesto?
Tracker,
No, you are wrong. So you see,
the analysis of the data on the performance tracker has been done.
And let me tell you how. We are talking about running an analysis and implementation status of a manifesto. What you do is not an analysis of the performance tracker in isolation. You take the performance
What makes
tracker.
you think we've done it in isolation?
But I asked you, so tell me the manifesto.
And I'm telling you that
the implementation
even after the establishment or the release of the manifesto track,
tell me the manifesto analysis that you did, the status of implementation. Tell me.
Relax. When I asked you the 20%, you couldn't.
I told you. I said I've told you.
I don't have all of them.
I have told you. I said
what did you mention?
I've told you.
Macroeconomy has done
I said that the macroeconomic indicator we give specific problems.
Which indicators?
For example, we said inflation will take it to single digit. Is that double digit? It didn't we? Look at what is happening to the foreign exchange, the cedi. So those are things.
But this is in reverse of the points you are trying to make.
Those are the 20% we haven't been able to achieve. What are you talking about?
I see.
What are you saying? What are you saying?
That is the 20%. So what else goes into the 20% from the other angles I mentioned? Because I don't even want to stretch it. Your flagship program.
So you see the point you are missing here is this, and that's the problem. You asked about the status of implementation of a manifesto. I tell you, we've run an analysis and we've done 80%. You ask me the ones that I think form part of the 20%. I give you examples of some. You have none. But here you are debating.
What makes you think I have none?
But I've asked you, tell the people. I said, what figure did you get in terms of implementation percentage?
But I'm telling you that I cannot give you figures that I do not have readily here.
But how do you debate?
But I can debate you on what exactly you think, because you've given me a figure.
So let me ask you something. You see, let me tell you, Ghana has moved on.
Moved on from what?
If you ask me.
Moved on from what?
If you ask me.
No, moved on from what?
You, if I ask you to tell me what forms even 70% of what you think NPP hasn't been able to do, how are you going to establish that? By barely mentioning one or two things?
I just gave you your 5 flagship programs.
And you think that forms
and that
forms how much percentage? Tell me, that forms how much percentage?
If I look at, for example, your promise, 1 million per constituency, were you able to fulfill
that forms? Let's say we have
no.
No, let's say
relax.
No. Let's just say
relax.
Let's just say
we. Do you want to talk throughout the show?
Let's just.
Do you want to talk throughout the show?
Ask me.
$1 million per constituency. You were not able to fulfill it.
Fulfill what?
You were not able to give the $1 million.
No, we're not able to fulfill it. When I say we are not, that's false.
You were not able to give So that's $1 million to every constituency.
That is not true. That's false.
What did you do?
So we actually sent the $1 million to every constituency.
You did?
Yes, in 2018.
When?
In 2018 and 2019.
And what happened?
No, so you see, so what you are saying is not true. So you know what you should say?
You said that you would
Stop disinforming your viewers.
Throughout the period, you would give $1 million to constituency.
But you are saying that you couldn't fulfill it.
Fine. Did you fulfill it throughout the period?
So that is where
you didn't.
So listen to me. That is
so there is a shortfall.
That is where the percentage of implementation comes in.
And even the $1 million.
Stop misinforming your viewers.
In fact, the ambulance target is $1 million that went. What do we have to show for it?
What do we have to show forward? For what?
What $1 million. What was
People are watching you. I'm telling you that.
What was it used for?
If somebody wants to implement a project and says that I will do A, B, C, D, and you want to measure the percentage of implementation, you don't say that they didn't do it. You look at what they have done and measure it against the whole.
Okay, so
then you know the percentage.
You did a year or two out of what? 8 years.
A year
right?
or two of what? A year or two of what?
You said you sent $1 million.
You said that we didn't do it. You said that we didn't.
You said that.
And if I'm not brought it up,
the execution. No, the point is, I do remember some ambulance issues.
You do remember, but yes, you said we didn't do it.
Listen,
but yes, you said we didn't do it.
The point is, I used to like.
So you would have done.
You said you would give $1 million per constituency every year. Have you been able to execute?
That is where the percentage of implementation that I keep asking you about.
Okay, so that is.
So don't come and stand on.
You look at.
And tell the viewers that they didn't do it. When you know that some of it
obviously you didn't.
And then
but then let me ask you. Let me take you to this.
Take me.
Now, if you go to planting for food and jobs, for example, and the food security you said you would create, even after Dr. Efri Akoto had left.
Yeah.
And now we have Dr. Brian Echampo. Have you achieved that?
Achieve what?
Food security, ensuring that we have enough on all fronts.
We've made progress. Do you know how much import of rice that we have cut over the period? And we are producing it locally.
I do know that.
Exactly.
It's about what, 30-something%. But at the same time, our consumption has increased.
So again, there is a percentage of success. And that is why I keep bringing.
But no one has anyone said here that in all of these areas there is no success at all.
I will not allow you.
Has anyone said that?
I will not allow you to run away from the issue.
No. But have I said that there is no success on any front at all?
The fundamental debate here is that
it is your 80% I'm questioning.
Of course.
Not that there is no success at all.
Of course, it is 80. So how are you arriving? What is your figure? What? And immediately 80 is mentioned. It means that there's a certain percentage that hasn't been done. Because it is not 100%. So what is your figure? So you've really made us waste 10 minutes debating something that you have nothing to show for.
Waste.
Yes, debating something that you have nothing to.
According to your logic.
But
these are the probing questions we have to ask on the very thing. No. You're telling me you have 80%.
Yes.
You're telling me that you sit an exam, you claim you have scored 80%, and you don't know which questions you actually messed up on. You got
the
wrong.
Problem you have,
and actually
the problem you're having
the loss of 20%.
The problem you're having is that
is that what you're telling me?
You see, the problem you're having is that you are struggling so much to make the point you made, which is you are human. Obviously, wrong look good. I told you that.
It's not a problem. I'm saying
asked me to give
you scored 80%. 20%. There must be some questions you got wrong.
Bro, you are wrong.
You can't tell me that.
I told you, but I mentioned that
you mentioned that macroeconomic indicators and inflation has gone up.
Is that not part?
I was tagging you. Fine, it is part of it.
So what are you talking about then? Why you let us waste time to
five
okay, you are right. Let's move on. You are right.
5 of your flagship
You are right. Let's move on.
And you can't even.
You are right. Let's move on. You are right. Let's move on. It is wrong for you to continuously be fixated on a falsehood simply because you want to be proven right. So you are right. I tell you about analysis of a manifesto we have done.
Shouting is dependent
on how you want to call
looking at it.
I tell you about analysis for a manifesto we have done. You haven't done any. You contest the figure. And I ask you, what is your figure? You don't have it. And you are picking on things. You are speculating.
You can take it that way, that we've never done
okay, you are right. Let's move
assessment.
On. You are right. Let's move on. But you said you haven't done it.
But let me ask you then.
Yes.
Moving on to this Sunday and your manifesto that you're coming up with. What can be expected in there? And how will it make the ordinary Ghanaian better?
This manifesto is heavy on jobs.
Heavy on what?
Jobs and business.
Jobs and business.
Yes, basically, that is what.
Now I'm itching to hear this one.
Can you let me speak? Oh.
Why? Because I said I'm itching to hear it.
You're interrupting me too much. I think that the NPP really believes that over the past years, not just with the Akufo-Addo government, but even in the Akufo government, been very heavy on social safety nets. In fact, most of the social safety programs you can think of are programs that are introduced by the NPP government. The health insurance, making basic education free, making increasing access to secondary education and making it free, ensuring that the children who graduate from these secondary schools are able to have access to tertiary education without money being a problem and all of that. So we've had a couple of these social safety nets running. We have the livelihood empowerment program and a couple of them. We've increased the facility for the persons with disability fund and supported them and all of that. It is time for us to begin to move towards pushing these skills and these things we're giving to the people towards becoming productive. And so the manifesto is heavy on getting private sector to really thrive, expand, increase production, empower the citizenry to be able to access some of these things that the private sector or the industry will produce. And by so doing, once they expand it, they definitely need to employ and recruit. So a lot of jobs. It is entirely jobs. About 90% of the manifesto that you're expecting to see on Sunday is about jobs, businesses, and the private sector.
Okay,
it's about the trader on the street. It's about the businessman. It's about the
let's stay there. Let's stay there a bit. In 2016, one of your manifesto promises, job creation, employment.
Yes.
2020, same. We're in 2024. Before you came to power, you were promising jobs.
Yeah.
You are at the dawn of another election after 8 years. You are promising jobs.
Yeah.
Of course, it is not that room for jobs ever ends. But when you look at unemployment, for example, hovering around 2016, around 7+%, and now 14+% in terms of unemployment. Would you say that on the score of jobs, you have done what you said you would do, for which reason we should trust you now to be able to create jobs after 2024?
Absolutely. Because we are the only government who, within 8 years, has produced the most jobs than any other government. So we have produced 2.1 million jobs, which we have the data to show for, the entire list of the 2.1 million jobs. And so if you're going to compare us...
Let me just ask you here. When it comes to the jobs that you say you have created, are these sustainable jobs, long-standing jobs that apply, or is it like NAPCO and others where you are in and out at some point?
No, they are sustainable jobs, very sustainable jobs. And we've actually put the data out. These are sustainable jobs only, 2.1 million. And the point you made is even the more reason why you need a government that has a track record and a scorecard for producing jobs. And so I like the point you made. As we are going into the polls, you are voting for John Mahama, His Excellency, or voting for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, His Excellency. Vote for the one that has a record of producing jobs. Look at the number of teaming jobs that have been employed. And still look at the number of teaming...
You mean teaming youth?
Yeah, teaming youth that are still in need of jobs. And so if you're going to vote in an election where you have a lot of young people looking for jobs, in spite of all the jobs that have been created, then surely you're going to go for the one that has a record to show in terms of jobs. I mean, for Mahama, we know his record when it comes to jobs. And I think that this election really, Akapo, is about jobs and businesses, no matter what you do. Because the woman at home is expecting his 35, 25, 26-year-old son to be out there working and bringing something home. And that is not going to change. The father out there is looking for their young girls to be out there looking for jobs and bringing it back. That is not going to change. And so as you go to the polls, ask yourself, what were the jobs that John Mahama created? They put it out there. It's in parliament. It's public. They said they created about 600 or so thousand jobs. That is out there. Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's government has created 2.1 million jobs. So if it's about jobs, the record is there. There's no debate about that. There's no contention about that. It's not about opinions. It's about who has a record to create jobs. And if even after creating 2.1 million jobs, we have a lot more young people who are ready and willing to work, then it tells you that we need to do more. And that is why we are saying that we are going to scale up even more in terms of what we've done in the past 8 years to ensure that the teeming young people who are yet, because you see, in job creation...
How are you going to do it?
Yeah, because in job creation, it's a value chain.
Because of time. We have about 5 minutes. How are you going to do it?
The job creation is a whole value chain. You need to first of all make sure that they are skilled. You give them the right skills.
Right.
So currently we have about 11 automobile companies in Ghana, actually assembling vehicles in Ghana. And these automobile companies, they need to employ. But are young people ready? And that is why we've invested so much in TVET, modernizing it and making sure that these young people are able to get out and get into these automobiles.
Those 11 that you mentioned and the automobile industry, do you have any idea how many young people, for example, they would need to facilitate their work?
Oh, yes. I mean, the last time I checked, within that sector alone, they're looking to close to about 13,000 to 14,000 young people that needs to be working there. And you know, when it comes to these setups, they scale up as they move along. And we need to be ready to fill that space. Because if we don't, other people are going to fill it. About 1 million plus jobs are going to be created in the digital space. No doubt about that. Because now the enabling environment is created.
The coders and others.
I mean, of course.
I see.
When you go to India, there are millions of Indian young people who are working for European and Asian companies.
That is trite knowledge. India has
exactly.
built its economy
Exactly. So that is where we're striving to get to.
But
so
you know what India has done over the decades to get to that point, which is why they even have so many CEOs.
That is the main reason why. That is the main reason why when you hear a political leader like John Mahama tell you that giving tablets to children is a vote-buying gimmick, you should hoot at him, because India ensured that the KG child, the class 1 child, at least you let her be holding it and playing with it and doing nothing and get confident with it. We have done it. We have started it. We are working on it. Today, if you go to Accra...
Regardless of what it costs, right?
Of course, because that is the investment we have to make.
Did you say regardless of what it costs? And you're saying yes.
Yes, you have to spend and invest in it.
Well, that is buying a tablet that supposedly maybe should cost a certain amount is costing many times that. It makes sense for you?
Whatever it says that cost to ensure that the Ghanaian child gets tablets. The Ghanaian child gets tablet. Because I don't know what you are talking about. I don't know where you got your
invoices. I'm sure you will not know.
No, did you get the invoices from anywhere? Or one of your speculations?
You wouldn't know.
It's one of your speculations, or you got the invoices?
What speculations? We've done a lot of deliberations on this.
Don't let us digress.
I'm sure you know exactly.
I don't know. It's one of your speculations. In India, they invested in these young people without thinking that when you live in a village, you cannot have a tablet, or when you live in the city center, or you must be an affluent before you get a tablet. And that's why we have started. That is why today you go to Dome Kwabenya, and we are introducing KGs.
So that's how you are creating jobs.
KGs that are using tablet and smart boards in their classroom. So the 1 million jobs will be created. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has already indicated about how he's bringing private sector into the delivery of public infrastructure. That strategy alone is going to free government of over 30 billion, give it to the private sector to expand and grow. What it means is that as these businesses are expanding, they will need more hands and they will need to employ more people. Don't forget, one of the only ways these people would have expansion and do more is when the Ghanaian people are consuming. So he says that let's create an environment where the Ghanaian people will have the ability to afford these things and consume. So these businesses can employ more and do more. And so he says, can we begin to, looking at all the things we've achieved and in our digital space, introduce a credit scoring system so that you don't need cash and carry all the time to be able to access the basic things you need. So you can go and buy your TV, you can go and buy your mattress, you can go and buy your sofa. Thank you on that point. A lot more people can access these things, and the businesses will have a reason to.
I'm sure the Ghanaian population, as they go and vote, they will determine, like you said, what is truth and what is fiction. And whether, in fact, you can do what you claim you're doing on the back of your track record.
And we're actually saying
creating jobs.
We're actually saying that they should use that as
let me just say this though. On the back about, even as we approach election 2024, some of the commentary, and I'm going to Brian Achampong and Malik Basintali and everything in between. On 3 occasions now, the Agric Minister has gone down this road talking about willy-nilly, we're going to take power, there's nothing you can do about it. What does that mean for our elections? Especially as we are trying to secure peace. That kind of rhetoric. Of course, you must know that the National Peace Council has waded into the matter, the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference, people of goodwill. Do we need to put a stop to that kind of conversation?
I don't know whether you're quoting Brother Champo or you are...
I quoted him. You saw me quote him on Blunt Thoughts. You are fully aware of what he said. I don't need to quote him again.
But what you are saying now isn't exactly what he said. That's what I'm saying, whether you are quoting
but I'm sure you know that I'm paraphrasing.
Okay.
Yes. So, Mamum Kwashipo, he said.
But Obika said, Kwashipo, what does that mean?
Okay, let me quote him then. Yeah. Since you want to play that game.
No, it's not playing. I mean, we are having a discussion.
I
like to interrogate the issues and not, go around it. So
this is precisely what Brian Achampong says. He says, it will never happen that we, the NPP, will stand on the platform to hand over power to the NDC.
What does that mean to you?
Democratically, what does that mean to you?
What that means to me is that this morning when I leave here, I'm going straight to the central region to do some work before I hit Takrade. It means that we are going to work. We are never going to allow ourselves to sleep for us to lose the elections and hand over to the NDC.
Okay.
That's what that means.
If the NDC dares to resort to threats, violence, and imprudence during the 2024 election, we will demonstrate our strength. What strength?
Yeah, but why? So if you dare to use violence, why shouldn't I demonstrate my strength? I should sit down for you.
So using your strength would mean what?
I would face you anyhow you bring it to me.
Okay.
Why is that a problem?
So violence will be met with violence?
No, I mean saying that, I said anyhow I can deal with it.
Will violence be met with violence?
We are not violent.
I see.
The NPP doesn't have a record of being violent. But there are so many ways to contain a violent person. So many ways.
Like
so
what?
many ways.
Like
what Malik Basintali said. There are so many ways to contain him. And West, like Malik Basintali, the things he said, based on his own understanding of what Bernard Champon said, is what is dangerous. Because Bernard Champon never used any way of burning anywhere, of saying that he's going to destroy anybody's hotel. At least if you can burn the sea, you should do it. Nobody will be bothered about that. But you are burning somebody's hotel, or you won't read what Malik said. The point I'm making here is that what Bernard Champon said, there was not a single element of violence from Bernard Champon. He said, don't dare to use violence. Why are you not interrogating that and saying, who is it that intends to use violence? And tell the other person, we beg you, don't use violence.
The wording he is using.
What wording?
And including what Malik also says. I have a message for him. If the people vote for John Mahama and your MPs, if he's truly a man, let him refuse to hand over power, and he will see what happens.
But why you don't?
When iron meets iron, you will see fire. That rhetoric, you're
did
okay
Bernard
with it from
Champon say
different sides.
anywhere that if John Mahama wins the election, did he say anywhere in the statement that
when he says we'll never hand over power to these people,
your
what does it
interpretation is that if John Mahama wins, he won't give power to.
But when the former president said, for example, that it doesn't lie in the president, the current president, or anybody to determine whether power will be handed over or not, and that it is the electorate who will determine that. How can you say that he will not hand over power
where was Bernard Champon,
if the people decide that way?
Did he say that he will never hand over power? Is that what he said? Or you are interpreting? You just quoted the person and you are using another word.
This is what he says.
Yes.
It will never happen that we, the MPP, will stand on the platform to hand over power to the
Yes, because we are going to work, because we are going to campaign. I slept last night at 3 a.m. Kingsley called me. I am here at 8 a.m. We are never going to relent on our efforts to make sure that we do everything we have to do, put in the work and win. That is why even though I slept at 3 a.m., this morning I'm going to Cape Coast. From Cape Coast, I go to the Manifesto Launch, and then I come back to Accra. We are putting the energy. The only way we are going to lose the elections are in two ways. One, we fail to deliver on what the Ghanaian people are expecting of us. And two, we fail to canvass and sell what we have done and achieved as a people. And that will never happen. We are going to make sure these two things are properly covered. And we'll make sure
as I take your final comments, right? I just wanted to refer you to this article from the 26th of April 2000. Government must accept useful minority suggestions. That's according to Dr. Kwame Addo-Kufuor, brother of former President Kufuor, and MP then for Manhyia. And he said that he had noted that billions of cedis and energy had been wasted on the single national health insurance scheme, and it could have been saved if the government had not brushed aside the minority suggestion in 1997 that such a scheme was not viable.
What's your point?
Billions of cedis
What's your point?
claimed to have been wasted on the national health insurance.
So what's your point?
Scheme.
What's your point?
You said that it had never been contemplated before that time, and the NDC had not executed anything.
But Akapo, why are you doing this to yourself?
I'm taking you to 1997.
Why are you doing this to yourself?
What am I doing?
Why are you doing this to yourself?
What am I doing?
Let me tell you for a fact on your show. Until 2003, there was only what we call community mutual schemes. In just about 6 or 7
So what was Dr. Addo-Kufuor?
So you see, so you should go and ask Dr. Addo-Kufuor.
I should go and ask Dr.
No, but Dr. Addo-Kufuor is not Ghana. Dr. Addo-Kufuor, for example, you.
Was Dr. Addo-Kufuor a prominent member of the NPP?
No, you just sat here this morning to put out things that are not facts. So if that is
according
published...
to you. According to you.
Yes, according to me. So if that is published online, and 20 years later, your children go to read, it makes it facts. The fact of the matter is that there was not a single national health insurance in this country. It was community-based, facilitated by the Catholic Church. Don't do this to yourself. This is fact.
Whatever the case may be.
This is fact. And I don't know, you went back to it because, again, you went back to
Dr. Addo-Kufuor was referring to at the time, which you do not see.
Which you should go and check.
Anyway.
You went back to this because, again, media man, I should be right. You are wrong. There was not a single
I don't have to be right.
run.
Maybe
so
you have to do that as
so
a
let me put it on record, and you have researchers. There was not a single state-run national health insurance scheme in Ghana until 2003. That is fact. Okay. Everybody watching us at home can watch it, and you are wrong.
Okay.
In trying to assess.
Maybe you should have a conversation with Dr. Adukufuor.
No. But why are you quoting something that you haven't verified? You are quoting something you haven't verified.
Dr. Adukufuor said it.
So do you believe it?
A member of your party.
Do you believe it?
A member of your party.
So is it true? You are a media man to educate the people. What you are quoting, is it true?
Dr. Adukufuor said it.
Is it correct?
Anyway.
Is it correct?
That is.
Do you quote anything at all you find online to be fact? Is that what you do?
Calm down.
No, I'm pointing out your inconsistencies to you. Is it correct?
You seem to have been irked a lot this morning.
No, because it's wrong. It is wrong for you to continuously have a platform that you have, which is a good platform, to be putting out things to disinform the people.
Okay.
There was not a single national health insurance
in the end
in Ghana before 1996.
Right.
What you sought to do with the Adukufuor quote is to create an impression that there was. You are wrong. You shouldn't do that.
All right.
There was none, zero.
You've had enough time to talk. Are you done now?
Thank you for the time.
Are you done now?
I'm done.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining the conversation. Dennis Miracles Aboagye sat here with us, talking about the fact that in the 2024 manifesto of the NPP, they are going to create more jobs. That is going to be a lot focused on jobs.
And business.
Come Sunday, we'll find out what exactly they have and what the plan is. Dennis, thanks for joining.
Thank you, Akabu.
All right, so let's look at the Pastors Kids Conference 2024 and get ready for the Pastors Kids Conference 2024 Legacy Edition. Are you a child of a pastor, preacher, or Christian minister? You are not alone. Join other pastors' kids from all denominations for the Pastors Kids Conference 2024. The theme is Legacy. The host is Apostle Francis Ajanasari, and the date is the 24th day of August 2024. The venue is the Perez Dome, Jomlu Junction, Accra. Time 9 a.m. prompt. And there'll be song ministrations by Kofi Owusu Prepra, Enuonyam, Mrs. Elijah Nasari, PKC Choir, and others. The rate is absolutely free. It will be an exciting time of networking, music, learning, and empowerment. For registration, all you have to do is call or WhatsApp these numbers, 0550 068 632. I'll repeat, 0550 068 632. It's absolutely free. It's the Pastors Conference, the Pastors Kids Conference 2024 Legacy Edition. See you soon. We'll be back with more action as we take you to Ashaiman for our constituency lens. Now, with less than 4 months until the general election, the race between parliamentary aspirants across the 275 constituencies of the country is intensifying. Constituents are making demands, expecting candidates to address their concerns, like I've been telling Dennis right here in the studio. In our focus on the Ashaiman constituency, we find residents divided over whether to vote. And while both the NPP and NDC aspirants believe they deserve to lead. Here's an excerpt from the 30-minute feature on the Ashaiman constituency.
Today, we are bringing you a comprehensive overview of the Ashaiman constituency here in the Greater Accra region. The constituency has over 208,000 residents, and Ashaiman, therefore, is one of the largest constituencies in the Greater Accra region in terms of population. Since 1992, the parliamentary seat of this constituency has been held by the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, except in 2000, when internal wrangling within the NDC actually made it possible for the NPP to win the seat in 2000. Fast forward in 2020, the incumbent member of parliament for this constituency, in the person of Ernest Nogbe, actually polled about 73,316 votes, representing about 61.6% of the total vote cast, against his closest rival, Alhaji Labaran, on the ticket of the NPP, who actually polled about 45,730 votes, also representing about 38.4%. This constituency is bedeviled with a number of numerous developmental challenges, ranging from deplorable state of roads, health infrastructure, education, economic activities, and overpopulation. So the question we are asking residents today is this: what will inform their votes in the upcoming general elections? Come with me as we explore this.
What's going to inform my vote in 2024? Maybe I might not even vote because the road in Ashama, I don't know whether we are part of Ghana or not, because all the road in Ashama has spoiled. From the 22 enclave to the whole township, no road there. And I heard they did let Accra work again, cleaning and these things. I've not seen even one dustbin. I've been sitting along the road, but people hold dustbins. I've tied all dustbins all over here. I see people passing with that, they don't know where to dump them. And all these things contribute to, look at the gutter here, look at the way it smells. If you clean this thing tomorrow, you come and it's full. I don't know what our leaders, our MCE was here when they dug this place. They dug from here to down there because the water was leaking. They destroyed the traffic light cables, or up to date, they've never came to do it. The dust, when you go through the township, the road leading to Level, the dust over there is something that is not even good for human health. But nobody talks about it.
For so many years now, almost 5 years now, this road, they haven't done anything about it. And we are hailing dust. When cars are passing, we'll be hailing dust. Even after now, I can't even breathe.
My concern is for these votes, this election, we are going to vote, but we are going to look at some things. For Ashama here, if you see our traffic lights, then the street light, we don't have one street light in Ashama, one bulb. We don't have it. From Ashasek up to Underbridge, we don't have one bulb in Ashama. Our road, Kota Road, they use this in sand to fill it. I didn't see some before. So this thing, if you watch this thing, who am I going to vote for? Right now, which party is on the listen?
I don't want to vote this year because if I vote, I will not get any results. I'm done JHS. I didn't get money to continue. That's why.
But SHS is free. It's supposed to be free.
And by now you buy some things before you go to school. But I don't have that money. I'll sell pure water before I will go. But my mom is not alive.
I will vote for JL. Yeah, because when he was on the set, I think 2016, he built a lot of schools and things. But for Nanado, although he let us go to school for free, but it wasn't that free. We paid a lot of things when we were in school. And due to the condition in the school, it's not easy. He bringing the free SHS didn't help us at all, crap.
Inadequate educational infrastructure across the constituency is a major concern not only for parents but students as well.
This is Ashaiman Community Day School. This particular structure you see behind me was put up by John Mahama as part of his Community Day Secondary Schools. It's been over 8 years and this building is yet to be completed. Ideally, they should be having their lectures or classes in the other block where there are classrooms. But because of lack of space and the fact that that block is yet to be completed, they have been forced to have their classes here at the workshop, which is inconveniencing them, is also impacting on their ability to absorb learning.
Before we come here every morning, the distance from where we are to this place is about, let's say, 3 kilometers, very far. And sometimes you come along with a few equipments, which are of course very heavy. So before we get here, we are tired. And as soon as we get here, we are starting practicals. So by the time we are done, the whole thing is very stressful. The current situation of this facility right now, as we all can see, is not in a ready state. We can't be, and as a matter of fact, some of the blocks up there are deteriorating. So it's not, the whole place is not safe until it has been commissioned for us. We can't come here now, and I have no option than to, trek.
We want our leader, the leader of the country, His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, to come and complete this building for us. We are pleading with him, with all due respect.
We had an E block,
getting rotten and taken control over by reptiles. Children have to walk long distances for primary education, and the youth in the community don't have jobs.
So here in the Ashaiman Municipal Market, we also want to find out from market women the key issues that would actually inform where their votes will go this year. So come with me as we interact with some of them.
4 years ago, no, I vote. But this time around, I can't vote again because of I don't see any changes in the system. Our things is too cost. If you go market, if you vote small money, you can buy plenty things. But now, if you have plenty money, so you can't buy anything.
Up to now, Ashama, we are not seeing any development for Ashama. As you can see our market here. We are sitting, we are sleeping. The market is not going. The system is hard for we. We butchers, we are dealing for safer. Always safer is going high.
So you are going to look at the exchange rates to vote?
Yes, of course. Because we are not seeing anything. Like we see something changes. Or like we are not changing our mind.
Assembly is not happy us at all. They were not happy us. So we are suffering in the market. Truth, we are suffering. The DC and the MP, I don't know how to talk to them again. Because we need plenty things, but if you call them, they won't listen to you.
At the parliamentary level, the dynamics have changed a bit from the 2020 scenario. The NPP has a new candidate, an educationist, Justice Kinesal, who comes face-to-face with the two-term incumbent MP, Ernest Nogbe. The question is, what record are they riding on to get voted?
I may not be able to mention everything that I have talked within these 8 years, but under the educational sector, I have talked a lot of successes by instituting the MP's mock in the municipality, by engaging both private and then public schools in MP schools, by donation of teaching and learning materials for the students in the community, and also making sure that our educational director has a residence in Ashaman, because as I speak with you, I have built a bedroom bungalow for the educational director. Hitherto that the educational director may be coming from Accra to Ashaman. By the time he gets here, it's almost late for activities. Now we have a residence for the educational director in Ashaman. And again, every now and then, I make sure that I equip the educational directorate so that they may be able to make sure the students of Ashaman are also well to do. But as we speak, from 2017, 2018, 2019, we have chopped a lot of successes under the educational regime in Ashaman, where we chopped second in the whole Greater Accra. Even in the whole country, we were 13th, 17th, respectively, in the country. So basically, under the educational sector, we have made a lot of inroads, and most of the schools in Ashama, due to our effort to make sure we upgrade the status of Ashaman, have been able to make have been able to chalk national laurels, etc.
So that is our constituency lens, taking you all the way to Ashaiman. And joining us now from Ashaiman is a concerned resident called Lincoln Kukubo. Also joining the conversation is a parliamentary candidate for the NPP, Justice King Essel, as well as the incumbent MP for Ashaiman, the NDC's Ernest Nogbe. He joins the conversation. All three of them are joining the conversation with us this morning. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
All right. So I'm going to start with you, Lincoln Kukubo. You are a resident of Ashaiman. I know the politicians, the NDC, MPP, they will come and talk about what they see. But you, as a resident, what do you see in Ashaiman?
Thank you very much to your viewers. I've lived in Ashaiman since 2006. Believe you me, it gets deteriorated year in, year out. And each time we hear the politicians come say all kind of things that sound so good, that tends to beat you into their their words, but believe you me, it's terrible. I just want to highlight some 4 thematic points that concerns Ashaiman as I speak to you right now. The first and foremost has to do with the road network. The road network is very terrible. And I'm so glad in your earlier view of the lens on Ashaiman, you did talk about the road network, the educational network, but I want to start with the road network. And you have shown some videos that talks about that. You look at the main road from Ashaiman Market Square or the traffic light all the way to Zainu. The worst state of it, you look at Newtown Junction and all the way to Lebanon, to Zainu, is terrible. It's very, very terrible. I'll share a video with you, and then you can see what I'm talking about, how terrible that is. If you have your property about 3 kilometers away from that main road, you will have to be cleaning your facility almost every day. And do you know the health implications?
Hello, Lincoln. Lincoln. All right, I think we've lost Lincoln there, but we'll try to get him back. Lincoln, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you very well.
All right, we lost you briefly, so just go back and make that point. Reiterate that point you were making.
I said I will make available to you a video. The problem with the road network is so terrible. In Ashaiman, the Newtown area, all the way to Zainu, is just so terrible. You know, if you live 3 kilometers away from the main road, you have to be cleaning your facility almost every now and then. That is even the physical cleaning of it. Have you ever thought about the health conditions of the people living around that area? It's terrible. It's very, very terrible. And you come into the inner circles of Ashaiman, you go to Committee 21, 22, terrible road work. Fortunately, you have just shown that video, which I watched very quickly, and I see that that is typically good. Your reporter has really come to the ground and really seen what the problem is with Ashaiman. So terrible. Not to talk about the boundary road between the Ponkatamanso and the Ashaiman is also terrible. Remember some time ago I gave you a live video coverage of a trailer falling on the that stretch of
I remember
road
that incident.
From Michelle Camp all the way to Tama, spent about 3 to 4 hours, which should have just taken them about 30 minutes. It's so terrible. So that's the road network. I go to sanitation. Just take a walk or let your reporter go to Ashaiman's market area. You're not even going to see a bin, a litter bin in Ashaiman's area. And you see our mothers selling around such environment, and it's so terrible. Gutters damnly choked. No one there. Road that can carry about 2 cars both in and out is now a single road. People have encroached on the road. You see the Ashaiman task force come over. All they do is just to walk about. Nobody's controlling how road traffic should be there. People have encroached on the road. You can't just drive through that place.
Okay.
The worst of it, the motorcycles that just move around. Ashaiman is very terrible. That is on the side of sanitation. Let's go to the health, which I've already bind that with the road network and its effect that it's going to have on you. Education sector is so terrible. There was a video that your reporter showed, my very good friend Carlos, that talked about the E-block. And that is so sad about this country. When it's a party that's in power have started an initiative, the next government ignores it and they leave the property to deteriorate. At the end of the day, it's you and I whose money has been thrown away, while students, people need spaces just to go study. Maybe I think you should make another report on the number of students in each classroom. Just take a typical example of the government school that we have around the market square. Just go to the classroom, see how congested these students are, whilst we have a facility that we can develop and then make it to a proper use. We talk about non-employment of teachers who have had their licential exams. At the end of the day, they can't get posting and all that. We claim we don't have facility to take the students in. Whilst we have some of these facilities that are put into no use.
Right.
It's getting terrible day by day.
I see. Interesting points you've made. I just wanted you to make this quick point before we go. The Member of Parliament for that area, Ernest Nogbe, has been there since 2017, winning from 2016. So he's a 2-term Member of Parliament. How do you feel about his work, what he's done so far?
Well, when it comes to Mr. Nogbe, you can see him on the ground, but then the effect of your being on the ground is not totally felt. Okay, when I take these 4 thematic points again, you look at some video that you played about his laurels in the academic sector. That's fine. That can be a single man thing. And each time you talk about roadwork networks, they talk about the MP is not the one to do that. But believe you me, you have the power as a member of parliament, which represents us. You're supposed to lobby for some of these things. I'll give you a typical example of this flood situation that happened at the, I think that's North Tongue, right? You look at
yes. You're talking of the spillage situation.
Exactly. Ablakwa, was he the one who did that? But what did he do? He tried to lobby. He tried to appeal to the conscience of people. At the end of the day, they came to rescue the people, even if not 100%. Believe you me, you and I.
But let's be fair. You know, this was a situation that went out of hand. Recently, I think there's a facility he sort of worked with other agencies from the US to put together, I think with the support of the City Group. But in these instances, Ashaiman is a huge constituency with over 100,000, you know, many tens of thousands of voters in there. You would expect your member of parliament to lobby, yes, as you would expect from any other constituency. But the practicality of reaching everybody, is it realistic?
Very realistic. Let me tell you how. You see, you just make a very solid point there about the population of Ashaiman. I'm subject to correction, but Ashaiman, if I'm not mistaken, can be among one of the first 5 highly populated constituency. It is to our advantage. We have the number, and it is that number that you need to use to do your necessary logging. Believe you me, if member of parliament can organize his constituency to exhibit the frustration that we are having as members of our constituency, believe you me, it will wake the government up to do the necessary things. He's not taking advantage of the number. He's not using the number enough. Yes, once in a while you see him come around to pour these latrites on the ground and all that, but in the long run, it's just affecting you yourself in terms of financial way, because if you don't do it right, you're going to come back to do it again. And that is the problem we have. If you recall the live video that I gave you about the Ashaiman Road, I told you that in the next moment, they are going to put some latrite on it. This time around, they went further, not putting latrite, they went to put a 040, and then they compacted it. But send the same reporter there again and see the state of that road right now. And I'm saying that, yes, Ashaiman is huge, we have the numbers, and it is our advantage. And right. He, as a member of parliament, should take that as an opportunity and capitalize on.
All right. And that population there in Ashaiman, over 200,000. But let me also bring into the conversation the parliamentary candidate for the NPP, Justice King Essel. Justice, good morning. Thank you for joining the conversation. When you look at Ashaiman, the constituency you want to take over from Ernest Nogbe, what do you see and what makes you think that you can do better in that constituency? What is your plan for the constituency, Justice?
So good morning, viewers. It's nice talking to you this morning. Ashaiman as a constituency, as you all said, has the second highest voter population in Ghana. But that does not mean it is the second highest populated area. It's a compact area. You can easily walk around Ashaiman if you want to do so. But Ashaiman has a myriad of problems. Unfortunately for us, those who represent us as our current MP have not lived in the place for a long time. He came in only just about the time that he won his primaries. So it's therefore not surprising to see that he doesn't really care about the place. Ashaiman education largely is being driven by private schools. There are a lot of private schools in the space. And so because of the competition of private schools, BEC have been quite fine. We don't have a lot of second institutions. We have just 2. the Ashama Senior High School, and then the technical school that have been added to it. The senior high school was basically a day school until I used my position at the GS Council to lobby for a boarding status for the school. So I did that for Ashama Senior High and for Tematech. Ashama environment actually basically is poor when it comes to sanitation issues. But it's also because we have not also created rooms for collection of garbage. And I think the whole issue of sanitation has been poorly managed. Thankfully, we have been able to build a sewage system, central sewage system that will take care of the open defecation matters.
What is this central sewage system, and how does it work? When you say we have been able to build, who built that?
Okay, so as a community, I'm just looking at this whole thing as a collective effort, because you need to get community members to agree with you to do anything that is feasible. But there is this sewage system that has been built, central sewage system in the Agric area. It was started during the current administration, and it's supposed to help to get all houses to feed their waste into it. The waste then will be treated and for onward using. That's about that, and that alone, I believe that will help the issue of open defecation, which will be very fine. Generally, we expect that our representative, which is a member of parliament, should engage more with the people, but he doesn't do that. He doesn't seem to understand what engagement actually even means. And the areas where he sees that he's even concerned, which is education, he has poorly done so. I have served on the Municipal Education Oversight Committee. Not even once has he met us. Education, as he's talking about, you need to understand what kind of curriculum they are teaching the children and how we can improve upon it. The instruction, how you engage with teachers, he doesn't even do that. So when you come and then at the end, you come and organize 1 or 2 quizzes and say that is how you improve our education, then you have clearly no idea about what's really happening within the space.
All right, so let me ask you this quickly. You say he doesn't even know what engagement means. I'm sure you do. How will you engage the people? And I'm sure you are engaging the people on the ground now. And tell me, you've listed a plethora of problems. Everybody can list problems. What are the solutions you are proffering? Why do you think you should be a parliamentary, a member of parliament for the Ashaiman constituency? Justice?
One, where our problems are, and then provide solution to it. That's the first part of the thing. As you engage with them, you understand what the needs are and to properly represent these concerns wherever you find yourself, which is key to our developmental processes. We need to look at our issues of security, which part of the things, the psychological environment that we want to create. For education, I believe that...
Justice, you're not answering my question. You tell me we need to look at security, we need to do this. I'm saying let's assume you are a member of parliament. What are you going to do? How are you going to execute? That's what I want. The people who are watching you from your constituency this morning will not expect you to regurgitate the problems. They will want you to proffer solutions to them.
I begin first of all by saying that we engage all the educational stakeholders. Currently, I also lead that sector to see how we can improve upon education of our students and give scholarship to needy but brilliant students who do very well. Of course, some of our students talk as much as 6 A's even from the Ashama Secondary School, struggle to get people to fund their education going forward. We have to give those children an opportunity. Our market women themselves need to be engaged. Some just need assistance in form of getting them facilities that are soft loan to be able to expand their work. I believe also that while Ashama
what you are saying is that, because I'm still trying to get to the bottom of it, what you are saying is that and by this time you should have had those engagements if that is what you're saying, but you will ensure that you lobby so that students who are brilliant but needy can get what they need to progress in their education. That you will work
Yeah,
with
that's
market
one.
women to ensure that you get better facilities for them. Because what you keep saying will engage them to find out this. I don't think that's the solution. So you're saying you will do that if you were MP, right? So put it in that context for me.
Basically, right now, there are people that I have helped to go to the next level of education. I myself have educated a lot of students from my Ashama community, and people are aware of that. So in saying that, I'm only saying that given the opportunity as a representative, I'll make it better. There are women who are in business, and we should learn to see how we can help them take the business to the next level. I've engaged with the municipality at various times to see how projects can be done to expand spaces for people to trade. And as we speak right now, because I've had the opportunity of serving the municipal assembly for some time as an appointee, and that gives me a better understanding of the issues on the ground. And so they're not just things I'm talking about.
Okay.
Having work in a humanitarian and community service group like Lions Club, and I've been a president, I have done a lot of charitable deeds over the period. So I'm not just talking about I would do, but the things that I'm already engaged with. I live in the community and understand the community needs. Where we find the Opuja town area to New Town area, where I have my schools, I connected the road myself, built the bridges there. When I got to Lebanon, I did similar thing in there, and people who live in the area, I can't see that. I've always gravel roads, even though I'm not the representative. So by becoming the people's representative, I should be able to do better than have done over the period.
All right.
And so these are all visible things that people who live around know that we have done. In Ashama, we can say
Justice, I think you've had enough of a share to express your thoughts. Let's hear from the Member of Parliament in that constituency, Ernest Nogbe. Now, we have joining the conversation Lincoln, who has shared some sentiments. He says you're doing something, you're on the ground, but there are many problems you're not tackling. He talks about the road infrastructure, he talks about education, health, among others, and he says much more can be done. But for you as MP, what do you think you've achieved over these last 2 terms that you've been given? And what are your achievements that you can share with us? Ernest Nogbe.
Thank you very much, and good morning to your viewers and your listeners. Yes, and good morning to my colleague, not my colleague, my good friend, Justice, in the studio or at home. Yes, Ashama is a cosmopolitan community, and every day about 22 people come to Ashama, which means that Ashama is congested.
Right.
Now, I've been in Ashama since 1997, which many people do not know. The fact that you are not playing active politics in the constituency, people think that you are not in the constituency. Education takes me in and out of Ashama. And so when my good friend says, I came to the constituency at the time that I won my primaries, that is a probable force. Now, when I became an MP in 2017, there were a lot of things that I achieved. There were a lot of achievements under my sleeve. For example, when you come to health sector, when you go to Tulaku, President Mahama built a cheap compound there, which was not in proper use. When I came, I rehabilitated it, make sure I fenced it and put it into use. As we speak, I renovated antenatal ward at the Ashama Polyclinic. Now it is called the Municipal Hospital. Donated maternity beds for the same polyclinic. Renovated a cheap compound that was left unattended, was uncompleted at a Triblew. I renovated it with huge sum of money, provided all the instrument, the equipment for it to use, and as we speak now, it's being used. Provided computers and office equipment for these hospitals. As I speak with you, I'm completing a ward for Community 22 Polyclinic as we speak now. And many other things I did under the health sector, which the Health Directorate has been commending me of. And as I tell you, since 2017 till date, my involvement in the health sector in the community supersedes that of the government in Ashama. Similarly to the education, the MP smoke that my brother said, I organized 1 or 2 MP smoke. In 2017, Ashaiman became the second in the whole Greater Accra, beating all the Tema schools when it comes to BEC results. The MP squeeze, provision of teaching and learning materials, provision of mathematics to prepare the BEC final students to be adequately prepared for the examination. When I came, my predecessor, Honorable Alfred, she started lobbying and making sure that Ashaiman Secondary School has the boarding status. I made sure I completed that feat and also provided dining tables and other things, amenities.
Okay, so Mr. Nogbe, you've mentioned a number of things that you've done, especially in education and health. We are watching footage of the roads in Ashaiman, and if you've been anywhere near Ashaiman, anybody who has, the roads are not anything you would want to be on at any point in time. Many of the roads linking Ashaiman. What are you doing about the roads? Because Lincoln, for example, was saying that you should use all your lobbying powers, like the North Tongue MP did for his constituency on the back of the spillage of the Volta Dam. What have you done in respect of roads?
Thank you very much. If time would permit us, I would have.
We don't have that much time. You have about a minute on that.
So I would have outlined all the achievements I chalked in Ashaiman under the education and then the infrastructure facilities.
Let's go to roads. Let's go to roads.
Yes, that is me. Yes, the roads are very bad in Ashaiman, and I also use saloon cars in Ashaiman. And I've always been telling my people that any politician or every politician who want to remain in power for long will not be kicked out because of one thing or the other. So if you have the opportunity to do something as a member of parliament, you will do it and you would have done it. So what is my duty in this case? The government abandoned the whole community. All the roads that we see in Ashaiman were fixed during the NDC time. My brother in the studio mentioned the traffic light to Punkatama, so that was fixed under NDC time. When this government came, they put speed ramps on the roads, and that speed ramp has deteriorated the road to an unappreciable level. It has to take my good self just about a month or 2 months ago to make sure I reach that.
So Ernest Nogbe, unfortunately, time is leaving us behind. Gentlemen, I'll give you 20 seconds each to wrap up your thoughts. Ernest, you have 20 seconds to wrap your thoughts, please. I'll give same to everybody and then we'll get out. What can your constituents expect of you if you win election 2024? 20 seconds, let's go.
Well, they should expect, because I'm the only MP in Ashaiman history who has never enjoyed my government before. And I campaigned on that premise in 2015 and 2016 to become an MP and change the dynamics of politics in Ashaiman when I meet my government. So I can just urge them to vote for John Dramani Mahama and my good self so that they will see exactly what I'm capable of doing for the people of Ashaiman.
All right. Justice, you have your 20 seconds. Justice? Do we have Lincoln? Do we have Lincoln on the line? Okay, well, it appears... Lincoln, can you hear me? All right, it appears we've lost the two others. But that's the Ashaiman constituency where we focused our lenses today on that very populous constituency. Before we go and head into Joy News Desk, if you're stressed out about all your cleaning needs, worry no more. Dan's World Services is your one-stop shop that meets all your commercial and residential cleaning needs, from pest control, janitorial, and house cleaning, event cleaning and waste management, carpet and sofa cleaning, and more. Whether you're at home or at work, we understand and know how haptic cleaning can be coupled with your busy lifestyle. And that's why we've got great news for you. Dan's World Environmental and Facility Management Services has got you covered. We excel in whatever we do, leaving you beyond your wildest expectations. If you'd like to locate us, we can be found at Excel House, opposite the Regimanuel Estate, Nungwa Barrier, or you can also reach us on 0302 905 538 or 0555 752 361. Dan's World Services, beyond expectation. I'd like to thank Mudasiru for giving me this wonderful shirt that I'm rocking today, and also to celebrate one of our cameramen, Obed Opong Amofa, Today is your birthday, Obed Opong Amofa. Happy birthday to you. God bless and keep you. He's one of our stalwarts here. And that's how we wrap it up on the AM show this morning. My name is Benjamin Akakpo. Thank you for joining. Up next, Joy News Desk.